we've got a little song today, eh?
Yeah, spent quite a while working on that one. Thought I'd sell more windows if I had a catchy window jingle.
I like it. You know, jingles aren't really our thing at Pella. We just stick to the highest levels of quality and design thing.
Oh. Wish we would have thought of that. Doot.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.79% APR 5.82% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Steve here from USA Insulation. Let me ask you a question. Do you know why your thermos keeps your coffee hot? Because it's insulated with foam. So let us do the same thing and insulate your home with our premium foam for only $99 a month, interest-free. The cold weather's here. There's nothing better than sitting in a warm, comfortable home with your loved ones and keeping that cold, drafty air outside. So make the call today, 529-2440, 529-2440, or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows?
Oh, no.
Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
March is Women's History Month, and together we are celebrating all the amazing women who have shaped the course of education in the United States and who have shaped our lives in the classroom. When young girls see strong women leading the way, they learn they can become strong leaders too and write their stories in the history books of tomorrow.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Flexible, secure, fun. Oh, and great pay, too. Are you not sure what you want to do for a career? Or are you thinking of changing careers? Being a dental hygienist or dental assistant may be the perfect fit for you and provides all of these perks, plus more. Talk with a dentist in your community or visit ODA.org to learn more. Become a valuable member of the dental team and start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A beautiful day today as we kick off the work week with plenty of sunshine, breezy winds, and highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. For tonight, clouds will increase overnight with our lows in the 50s. And then for Tuesday, we do have a chance of some spotty showers and storms. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies and very mild with highs in the mid-70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Common Man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Has anyone checked on rhyme time? I mean, since it's ticked into March, just...
He was tweeting as of 4 a.m. about some conference I've never heard of and how great their conference tournament has been, and this player we got to look out for.
It's kind of like in Iron Man where you have to make sure that whatever they put in to make his heart tick stays at a certain level, because I think he he could absolutely combust with everything that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. He texted me in the break. Jardy told him on the Buckeye Show on Friday that depending on when Bruce got it, they would go into a media timeout. They would have Hobson come out during that like they did at halftime. The plan was never to stop the game the second he got it. So I guess they were waiting on the 4 media timeouts or the halftime to be able to do it. I don't know what the precedent is on it. I don't know if it's something that, other places where that's happened, because oftentimes, sometimes you're never going to see these again. The last one of these, like I mentioned, was Hansbrough. That's mid-2000s. Reddick would have been in that window too.
Well, Hobson's wasn't his in the tournament.
I have no idea.
When he set the record, and then I think there was only like 30 seconds left in the half. I was trying to go back in the break to remember like the timing of when Bruce set the record versus how much time was on the clock. So maybe the idea, if they were to stop it, maybe they looked at, and I guess to your earlier point where Diebler told him, no, we weren't going to stop it.
Yeah. It ended up working okay. I do think it's cool when you stop it because it puts that big thing on it. But at the same time, if you're going to have D-Hop come out and have him, which obviously it was so great to see him. It looks like he could still play 32 minutes. But have him come out, then that takes a little bit of time, and maybe they just wanted to wait until they had more of it. The big key here, and I do think this part's important, is that this is happening on the best team Bruce has played on, the most accomplished so far team that Bruce has played on. And that tells you a little bit about where the program has been. But I think what you saw this last week with the Purdue win, these 2 wins, you don't need any flowers for beating Penn State. That's what you're supposed to do. But absolutely bombing Indiana on senior day, the day that you're honoring Bruce, the day that he breaks the record, and now firmly in the NCAA tournament. Get yourself that double bye into the Big Ten tournament to the dismay of AR, and now you find yourself in a very nice spot going forward. So how have they done this? Jake Diebler on how they're playing their best at exactly the right time.
I've spoke about this, right? I think there's a lot that's going on that's helped us play in the way we are lately. Part of it is getting healthy. That makes a difference, and not just being available. Like, we've had guys who have played in games in the last month or so who really didn't get to practice or were limited in practice leading into the game, and that impacts you. And then we found out on game day. So I think that's helped, right? What also has been probably the most important ingredient is the chemistry this group has. Like, they are close. They work extremely hard. And they encourage each other. They have each other's back. It's a really close group. So I think those 2 things, and the fact that we've been able to really get better at some stuff, is why we're playing our some of our best ball of the year. And you got to do that in this league. This league is a marathon. Every single game is hard. Home, road, it doesn't matter. It's all hard. And so we're peaking at the right time.
It is. I forget we're to the time of the year where every coach has to say how great their league is and how tough every single game in their league is. They're all tough. Listen, whatever conference you're in right now, it's tough because everybody's fighting for the damn lives, trying to stay alive, trying to get into March. Wherever you are, you're trying to stay in it. The overall point of the day, though, and I do think it was really critical, was Bruce breaking the record, and it feels like them now firmly in the NCAA tournament, almost no matter what happens this week in the Big Ten tournament. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. Here is Jake on what Thornton making the tournament means to him personally.
Yeah, I want it for him. There's no question. There's not a again, when I got this job, and you kind of look around and say, okay, how do you build this? Well, the first guy I went to was Bruce Thornton. It was the first guy I went to. And, so yeah, I've wanted this for him in the worst way, but we were able to navigate that in, I think, just such a beautiful manner because of the relationship we have. And we just focused on having a good day, one day at a time. We never got too high. We never got too low. We just kept trusting the process and working and building. And we surrounded him with a group of great guys that he can lead well. And there's just so many factors that go into it. But I've wanted it for him. Absolutely.
Let's hear from the man of the hour. He breaks the record on a 3. It was just a beautiful shot that he knocked down. Here is what was going through his mind when he did it.
I really didn't know, but honestly, we trying to do this thing called 2-for-1. So you're trying to get 2 offensive possessions. So it was around 47. So I hurried up trying to get down the court. And when I passed out of court and I looked at the clock, I'm like, yo, I'm shooting this. It's not So when I got the separation and how that crowd reacted, I knew I got it. So So, I mean, it was a great feeling. I was so caught up in the game, I couldn't really sit down and just take it all in. But I will after the game. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure he doesn't want to answer this next question when somebody asked him about making his first NCAA tournament, because we haven't made anything yet, right? You in your mind, you got to just keep winning games, try to make a run in the Big Ten, all those things. Here's Bruce, though, if he's thought at all about making his first NCAA tourney.
Not really. For me, I don't say too much until I see it for myself. Then, I'll celebrate. But now, I don't know. But each and every day, we know we got the Big Ten tournament, and the type of mojo and confidence and swagger we have, I feel like we can make a big run.
It's hard to pinpoint what flipped. Health is a part of it, right? I mean, they're getting back healthy, so that's a part of it. Junie Mobley back, shooting the ball well. That's a part of it. That allows you to space. It allows you to it allows your guys to run lanes, to get open shots, all of the things that come with spacing. And so I think that's part of it too. But this team is now playing at a level that we haven't seen from them in a while, and they've done it in 3 consecutive games. And to handle Purdue the way that they did, to go to Happy Valley to do what they did, and then to just bury Indiana, to have that week. And then coming out of the loss to Iowa, you just didn't know if they had this in them. And it was required. I mean, they've been bubble in, bubble out for, 2 months, guys? I mean, all of January and February, it's been bubble in, bubble out. And now they're firmly in. The latest one we'll get to in just a second, but firmly in at this point. And I don't think they need to do anything in the Big Ten, but I also don't want to put that out in the universe, Ricky Bobby. Handle your business, win another game, make it for sure. Better seating, better location, all of it. But there is something that's flipped with this team in the last couple of weeks that now may do even the next thing, which is make them dangerous in March. And there are certain teams that are going to be a brutal matchup for them. If they are on the 8-9 line and they get matched up with one of those ones that have length and size, that's going to be a problem for them no matter what. But there are certain teams that I would feel very confident, because they have a couple of guys who now, the way they're playing, Bynum continuing to give them a little bit, who will be a very difficult matchup. And if Bruce and Junie shoot it the way they've been shooting it, you're going to be a problem. You're not going to want to see them on your seed line when it comes to Selection Sunday a week from yesterday.
Yeah, and I wonder with, Brandon Knoll getting an official designation late last week and then kind of working towards a return for Ohio State, if this this gives them a deeper bench, and it also gives them more help with size. Because I really love the way Ivan Yagovin has come along the last month of the season, similarly with Amari Bynum, Christoph Tilley getting healthy at the right time. That for me has been obviously the shooting of Junie Mobley. Obviously how Bruce Thornton's just continued to do everything at any time he's asked of him. But I think the health with your size and the deeper, it's not really deeper, but it's just one more person, one more body on that bench helps.
I think there's a lot of things that have gone into this, Bo. And I think Jake talking about the health, and not just the health in games, but guys practicing, is something that a lot of us don't see. I don't know, other than Adam Jardy and maybe Steve Hellwagon, who's over there covering this team every day watching them practice.
Yeah.
So that's something that a lot of people don't realize, is a lot of these guys, like Colin White, a lot of people have taken shots at Colin White. He's a guy that's been dealing with some kind of leg injury all year, it sounds like, and who knows how much that has affected him. So I do think the health thing is definitely something. I think the evolution of Amari Bynum, as he has gotten more used to the college game, has helped tremendously. I think Taysom Chapman, realizing, he's missed a lot of time, a lot of injuries, a lot of basketball he's missed. I think him and his development, getting to where he can be a player that can contribute, has helped immensely. I think embarrassment has been in part of this a little bit as well, too, because we've heard about John Mobley Jr. in the gym at 5 a.m. Boy, have we seen the results from him. We heard about Devin Royal after the Michigan State game, staying in the gym, putting up 1,000 shots till 4 a.m. He's been a different player since then. And your backs are against the wall. Sometimes you come out swinging, and the detractors are going to say, well, you've played 3 teams in the Big Ten that are on the wrong way. And that's true.
Fair.
But you acted accordingly. The Purdue game was never in doubt, and this Indiana game was never in doubt. And, Bo, I was someone who believed that they would need to win a game in the Big Ten tournament. I don't believe that anymore with the way they've played in these 3 games, where they handled business how they were supposed to.
And we're going to get to that. I agree with you. I think we're all kind of on the same page with that. Now, win a game in the Big Ten and lock it up, all of that. I think Chapman's a big part of this. Because you were looking for some sort of spark, and that really, his play jumped at the end of January. It just took off. I mean, he was, and we, he just wasn't healthy, wasn't right. But this is a guy's playing a minute, 2 minutes a game through much of December and early January. And then the injury to Mobley happens, and then you have this incredible contributions. I mean, he had 20 minutes last night, or on Saturday, went 4 or 5. It's littered with those type of performances over the course of the last month. He's been a big contributor. So they're a little deeper. They're healthier, they're deeper. It's also a good point to say you don't always know what's going on inside a basketball program. You don't know what people are dealing with from a health standpoint. You can look at something from 30,000 feet, or even from us from 1,000 feet, and it feels like some things are happening, but the reality can be much, much different. More on that at 10 o'clock in regard to the Kansas Jayhawks and the perception of Darren Peterson. In terms of bracketology, in terms of what is needed, we will get into that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
At the Waterworks, we mean clean, which means we don't just clear your drain, we actually clean it. Get your drains good as new with the Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
Forget the pot of gold. Save some green at all 4 Coghlan Kia locations. Get 0% plus no payments for 90 days on select new Kia Sorrentos, Sportages, and Tellurides. Or buy a new 2026 Kia K4 for $279 a month. Visit CoglanKia.com.
0% APR available for 48 months on select in-stock units. 90-day deferred payments. Buy for $279 per month for 84 months at 5.99% APR with approved credit through Kia Finance. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/26.
When we designed our Columbus Blue Jacket ticket plans, we designed them for fans like you. For fans who want to choose their games and their seats. And fans who need flexibility when their plans change. Columbus Blue Jacket season ticket plans. Get your tickets now at BlueJackets.com.
Hi, Dave. Your people were at my house yesterday. Are you happy they came? I never realized how much that junk was bothering me until it was gone. We love to give people that clean, happy feeling, Dave. Thanks for calling. I feel great. Can I say one more thing? Sure. When your wonderful people were about to drive away, I looked at my wife and said, that was love with its sleeves rolled up. Did your wife agree? Absolutely. Dave, you made my day.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Reaction Monday edition of the program. A week from now, we will know the matchup. We will know where Ohio State is headed, men and women, by the way. We'll get an idea of where that is. We will know what has happened to Miami, if they are in, if they are still perfect, or if they have lost in the MAC tournament. More on that in just a second. Selection Sunday is one of the great days. This is now championship week. It is here. It's already begun. Some of the non-group of fours have already crowned their champions. Some incredible stuff over the weekend. Buzzer-beating shots. The end of was it Navy-Boston U game where Navy hits a jumper and then they don't call a timeout. Boston
and just let him shoot it.
Walks right into a three to win it. Like, thrill of victory, agony defeat. This is the magic that happens at March. And it's why, for so many of you who don't pay attention to this sport, now you jump on the bandwagon. And by the way, jump on. The water is warm. Enjoy yourselves. Get into this thing. It's going to be an incredible next month of college basketball. It starts this week with Conference Championship Week. The Buckeyes earning that double bye in the Conference Championship. I'll tell you this. This was Sunday morning. So let me see where this posted. So Sunday morning, I'm in the Kansas City airport trying to catch a flight. And I knew that they had received the double bye because we had talked about it a lot. I knew that they were going to be playing at 11 a.m. I knew that they would be able to sit it out till Thursday. But I just wanted to see what the bracket looked like. And I pull up this graphic on Sunday morning from the Big Ten, and they still didn't have it locked in. I suppose there were still some games now that I think about it. Maybe that's what flipped it. I don't know what they were waiting on, but now we have it clear. Ohio State will await the winner of Maryland and Oregon. The winner there will play Iowa, and then the winner of that game will get the Buckeyes. That game on Thursday at 11 a.m. Is that Central or Eastern?
Central time.
Central time. Boy, the 1 hour really, I was thrown for a loop all weekend long with that. So noon start here. So we'll have an abbreviated program, and then away we go. So that'll be Thursday as they await that winner. In terms of the bracketology, as I mentioned, none of these things are put it in Sharpie and it's locked and loaded, but Lenardi usually has a pretty good feel for things. And as it stands right now, he has them as a 9 seed playing Georgia, the 8 out of Greenville. And then the matchup there, of course, when you're in the 8-9 game would be the 1 seed in the second round. So provided you were to beat Georgia, who I haven't seen Georgia play once this year. I don't know if you guys have or not. Provided you're able to beat Georgia, you would then be getting Duke, which obviously when you're playing a 1 seed is tough. That specific 1 seed would be ultra tough for this team based on their length. I just think Boozer would be a real problem. There's Duke and Michigan have a lot in common in terms of length and size and the things that they're able to do. And obviously Michigan's a tough matchup for them. But back to the conversation of if they need to win anymore, I don't think they do. I think they're in clearly, and now it's just about seeding. I don't know that they're going to fall below the 7 line. I think that they could end up on the 8 line if you win a couple. Is it possible that they get to a 7? What would that take? Probably at least 2 wins to get to a 7 line. So now you're talking about beating Michigan on Friday in the Big Ten quarters to be able to get to that level.
I mean, the way they're shooting the ball.
Yeah.
So the first game in Ann Arbor when the two met, it was points off turnovers for the Buckeyes and their ability to shoot it. It's, not having to rely to go against Michigan's size and length. I mean, you can do it. With the way this, with the confidence this team has in shooting, there's a path here.
It's the equalizer. It really, I mean, you have to shoot. You got to shoot the 3.
And also, this is what March does when you're playing like the way Ohio State is. You're getting me to believe that they can beat Michigan on a Friday in the Big Ten.
There's
tournament.
a magic.
It's nuts if you if you haven't watched Ohio State and you haven't watched Michigan play, you go, there's no way. But the way Ohio State's played,
The way for Ohio State to beat Michigan is you have to shoot 70% from 3 again in a game like you did a couple games ago, right. I believe, because as you mentioned, Bo, a lot of times in this time of year in college basketball, it comes down to matchups. And a team with length like a Michigan or a Duke is just a really, really bad matchup for Ohio State. But 70%, I saw them do it once.
Look how greedy we are. Like 2 weeks ago, we're like, just get in, find a way to get in. Now we're saying, like, how can we get a Sweet 16?
Isn't it crazy?
Let's get to a Sweet 16.
So that's why they call it madness.
Yeah, because it drives you mad. So that's the way to look for the Buckeyes. The other thing that, as I mentioned earlier, in regard to Lawrence and the folks who were appreciative of Bruce breaking the record, we got back to the hotel Friday night after dinner, and every TV was on Miami against Ohio. Every game was on. And my God, did it deliver. Did you go last minute?
There's no way I was gonna make it. I struggled in the second half of that game.
I tried a last ditch effort on Friday to get him to go.
And then the Saturday show was a struggle. It's like 7 or 8 cups of coffee. Like, I'm still making up for it. Look, you got to know your limitations, and that would have been it. I am rooting for Miami of Ohio. I didn't on Friday.
Are you still, after a lot of kerfuffle about the end of the game? And
I was okay with it. Look, if you've ever been to a game at the Convocation Center, if you ever sat in Ohio's student section, they throw some not nice language at the opposing players. And especially in a game like that where I got chippy on the court, kind of turned into a ref show. Mm-hmm. But I was okay with Suter and the boys going and letting Ohio fans know, hey, you're number 1 in our book, too. Because it matters.
I am, too. Go ahead, Bake.
I'm never okay with that. We have just lost all respect in this world. And I will admit,
it's a two-way street.
I wasn't locked in like the first time of that game. I was locked into the last 5 minutes in overtime. So I didn't see anything that may have happened throughout the game up to that. I just don't like that you just won a game and your first thing is to run over and flick off the fans. And I just don't love it. And I was at a high school hockey game yesterday, and one of the school student sections started chanting F the other team.
Yeah, I saw that last week.
I saw a parent, thankfully for this school, jump up and stop it. They said no more of that. I hate the lack of respect. Like, I love a rivalry game, and I love a good banter and back and forth and ribbing. But you know what's better is when everybody shakes hands afterwards. And I just hate that the Miami of Ohio thing, and you were about to talk about this out in KU. Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe here in town we are not paying attention to it enough because it is a big thing. There's only a handful of schools that have had a perfect regular season in the NCAA in quite some time. That diminished it a little to me at the end of that game. I'm not going to lie, I hated it.
Yeah. It's tricky. I think Reese's point of if you've been to a game there and what is being said to you, and then, you want people to elevate above that, but who knows what was said from fan to player. And what you said about the high school hockey, I saw that last week in a high school boys basketball playoff game where they were chanting similar to the referee. And I just couldn't believe like an athletic director didn't just go over and be like, no, we're done.
Yes.
Like, that's it. And then just start throwing them out. Like any kid who you catch doing it, just throw them out, put them on the street. And they all have phones. Trust me. They can call a parent to come pick them up. Like, I'm with you on that side of things. You're right in terms of what was accomplished this season at Miami. Here's the list of teams who finished undefeated. This is courtesy of John Fanta since 78-79. Alcorn State, Indiana State. Bird was on that team. Larry Bird for the kids. UNLV in 90-91. St. Joe's in 03-04. Wichita State in 13-14. Kentucky in 14-15. And Gonzaga in 2021. And Miami went undefeated. They are not the favorite to win the MAC tournament. Did you see this?
I did see this.
They are not the favorite.
Last time out against the favorite. I mean, this has been survive and advance for them at least the last three. So the idea that Akron's the favorite, you're kind of closer to the friendly confines of Akron. Like, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Miami's battered. Skaljak's got stuff all over him. He's got a wrist taped. They're all battered up. So they've been hanging on. I really believe firmly, no matter what happens this week in the MAC tournament, they're in. That you post an undefeated regular season. I don't care what happens up in Cleveland. To me, they're in the tournament. Period. Now, could they be in the play-in if they make them an 11? I think there would be a lot of flack even about that if an undefeated team had to play their way in through Dayton, which would be a complete home game for them. But to me, they should be in the tournament, not Dayton on Tuesday and Monday. They should be in the tournament no matter what happens. Let's see where Lenardi. You can't even do this because I'm sure he factors them in as the only MAC champion. He factors them in as the MAC champion, which they are in the regular season. So you can't even really look at the bracketology because it's irrelevant. So
I don't think any of the bracket providers are doing a bracketology that has two MAC teams in.
Yeah, because you wouldn't.
Find one, right?
Yeah, because they won the regular. So right now he has them on the 11 line against Carolina in Philly. So that's where they stand. Yeah, that's where they stand at that point. So we'll see. But I see both sides of some of the stuff that happened at the end. I agree with you, Bake, in the sense of you would want more from players, but I also understand Reese's point where if you are verbally accosted for 3 hours, that's a tough thing to just kind of let wash off your back. Here's the big win, though. That environment looked awesome.
It sure did.
It looked awesome. And the more of those that we get in the sport, whether it's in Athens or Akron or Toledo or Columbus or anywhere, the better it is, because there is nothing like a big game on campus when it happens on the hardwood as well. And I saw a pretty good example of that on Saturday. The Jackets, afternoon delight. This is overwhelming. Speaking of people like Reimer with his heart not beating, I don't know how Bake's staying alive, because every day it feels like you got a game, and you got an afternoon delight for the Jackets today. We will get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
What can ADP do for small business? We help answer the business questions, like how do you track employee time? How do you do payroll taxes? Or what does compliance even mean? So small businesses can focus on bigger questions. Now florists can ask, can we invent another holiday to sell bouquets? Pizza shops can ask, how do we stuff a calzone into a pizza crust? And pool cleaners can ask, what is that thing in the filter? These are the questions you can focus on when ADP takes care of the business of your small business. ADP for small business.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending, the original home of the no closing cost mortgage. With interest rates at their lowest level in 4 years, what's stopping you from taking advantage? Maybe it's the thousands of dollars in closing cost? Well, what if I told you that those costs aren't required and that you decide whether to sacrifice $15,000 to $20,000 of equity at closing or zero? At Miller Lending, we're all about zero and have been offering no-cost loans since 1987. With no title closing or origination fees, imagine having the freedom to refinance any time a lower rate becomes available or a need arises. Even 0.5% lower in rate results in savings of over $100,000 over the life of your loan. So why wait? No-cost loans are real and here to stay. Simply call Miller Lending and see why thousands of satisfied clients have made that choice to say goodbye to closing costs forever. 877-9-NO-COST. That's 877-9-NO-COST. Or simply apply online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
The Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once on 2 video walls spanning 50 feet, plus over 30 TVs. Come show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings and take home memorabilia from a Cleveland basketball legend. We've also got unbeatable game day food and drinks all season long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table with up to $300 in dining credits at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
It's a new month and a new reason to visit Germain Honda of Dublin. Right now, take advantage of great low rates on select certified pre-owned models all month long. You'll get the reliability you trust, the value you want, and payments that make sense. And the wait is over. The all-new Honda Prelude has arrived with precision suspension and responsive hybrid performance. Great rates, awesome vehicles, only at Germain Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Hi, it's Common Man.
And T-Bone.
Hey, Pizza Madness is here.
Yeah, the brackets are live now at pizzamadness.pizza.
Vote for your favorite pizza place and then be very angry when it does not win.
Brought to you by Billiards Plus.
The madness is on and the deals are going full court at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Drive home the Powerhouse 2026 Tundra at 2.99% APR for up to 72 months and $1,000 Toyota financial cash. That's a slam dunk offer. Or you can drive home in the always reliable 2026 Camry LE for just $269 a month for 36 months, 10,000 miles a year, and $36.99 due at signing. Don't sit on the sidelines. Hustle into Germain Toyota of Columbus on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
So let's talk price, Wilson.
Let's talk about the price, Bob.
I hear it a lot. Leslie, aren't Pella windows a bit more expensive?
The actual retail price is.
But we're not. We've got 5 different window lines for the $300,000 to the $3 million home. All are Pella Elite.
Oh, so when I get on the show, I'm going to have to bid lower. That'll come in super handy someday.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
This is a pretty remarkable fact that through low 60 amount of games played, the Jackets have played 62. Through 62 games, if the Columbus Blue Jackets were in the Pacific Division of the Western Conference, they would be divisional leaders. That's the reality of it. They have 73 points in 62 games. The Anaheim Ducks lead the Pacific with 73 points in 63 games. By the way, and this leads to a bigger conversation, the NHL clearly needs to go back to 1 through 8. because this is nuts. What's going to happen out west? Colorado has 95, Dallas 88, Minnesota 85. They're all going to eliminate each other in the first 2 rounds. I mean, the idea that Colorado, Dallas, I guess theoretically they could because Colorado be opposite, but just go 1 through 8, and then you don't have to worry about this type of thing that's going to happen out west. As for the Jackets, all of the success now 7-1-2 in their last 10. It did get the point on Saturday. Play again this afternoon against the Kings. I was in transit to Lawrence much of the day on Friday, and I was curious to try to pay attention, keep up with all of this. Where were they on trade deadline and all of it? Obviously make the move on Thursday. That's the big one. Bake, you were in this press conference with Don Waddell on Friday. This is post-trade deadline presser. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was over there. And, Bo, real quick, just something else about the Jackets that's even just staggering. In their last 18 games, they have 30 of 36 points, and they're still not in a playoff spot.
Yeah, everybody in the East just keeps winning. Yeah, an update on that. So in the wild card, they are 3 back of the Bruins with a game in hand. So it feels like they've been in this spot, despite what Bake just said, 30 out of 36 points accumulated in this stretch. So the question becomes, okay, well, what are you? How do you view this team? Bake, set this up. What was the question you asked to Don here?
So they made the move. They just made the one move. They've got Connor Garland. And I asked Don Waddell, I asked him if he thought that they could compete for or win a Stanley Cup with the way this roster is now.
Taking that step to the Stanley Cup's a big, there's only one winner each year. So, just sit here and say we're a Stanley Cup team. There's steps to take there. Do I believe that we're heading that direction? Absolutely. Do I believe we can get in the playoffs and win some rounds with this hockey club? Yes. And, if you look at, again, I go back and look at the season as a whole, where we were frustrated how we were losing games, and now, I think we've gotten 27 of our last 32 points we've got, which is unbelievable that you go on that kind of run. But I never thought we were as bad as what our record was. I thought we were always better than what our record should have been. So when you talk about rental players, and at the deadline here, this is a great group of guys. We've been very fortunate here. We got 2 years in a row here. The guys that we added, Coyle and Woods and Lundstrom, they have fit in very, very well. These guys, they've done it. They've proven they can be a very good team. And, I always look at they deserve to have that opportunity to take it to the next level.
You follow this closer than anybody around here, Bake. What did you make of how the deadline unfolded, what the Jackets did or didn't do?
So we talked about this, and if you weren't going to go all in, to me, the way the prices were, you could have sold guys and got a lot that could have helped this team in the future. I also understand, though, that your team is playing well and you don't want to give up on that. I like the move of Garland. Garland is a guy that kind of similar to Charlie Coyle, not in the way they play, but the fact that when he's healthy and he plays 82 games, he's a 40 to 50-point player. Now, Charlie Coyle has come here and he's having a career year right now. He's probably going to be in the 60s this year with his points. But once they made the Garland move, I figured you had to make another move or two and go all in and chase the Stanley Cup at this point.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like, to me, from that answer, they're chasing the Stanley Cup. It sounds like, we're not quite there. But could another move or two gotten you there? So once you make the move, to me, I felt like they needed to make another move or two, add a big physical defenseman and maybe another guy up front. And I also asked Don Waddell if he was close on any other moves, and he said no. But I wonder if that's true. I wonder, if a Steven Stamkos is out there, and he'd have to waive his no trade. That's not just a move for this year. You get him for next year, too. Should you have kicked the tires on that?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, they're in this weird spot where they've played this incredible level of hockey for a month now. And in between, you got the Olympic break and all that goes to it. And all that they've done, they're basically just keeping pace. because of everything else that's happened in the East, because no one's really losing. And so you're kind of just keeping pace in all of this thing. The game this afternoon is the makeup from the weather-delayed game from in January. So you got a 4 o'clock game today against the Kings. Then you get a 3-game roadie, and it's a full day. It's at Tampa, it's at Florida, it's at Philly before Carolina back here a week from tomorrow. The games do kind of settle down a little bit, though. So you play Tuesday at Tampa, Thursday at Florida, Saturday at Philly. So it's more of a – it's not – for a while there, it felt like we playing every day. And some of that's because of the makeups and just coming out of the break. So this one will be a little bit more normal in that sense. A big one today, though, right? I mean, go get a point here. Like, you can't tell me the Kings want to play this game. 4 o'clock on a Monday? For their body clock, it's 1 o'clock?
Well, and the Kings, I believe, weren't they in Chicago last night? I think I think the Kings were in Chicago last night, so yeah, it's a weird time. I'm pretty sure it was just
they were
so they can get out.
They were not in Chicago last night.
Okay,
they play tomorrow against.
They head to Boston.
I think they play tomorrow against Boston.
Yeah,
so
it is a weird time, but they're a team that's in the same spot as you are. They're trying to get in this thing in the West, so you're going to get everything they have, I would believe here. I wonder how many people are going to be in the building today.
Where is? Yeah, great question.
For a 4 o'clock get out of work early game,
get down there.
Be the most fun.
Be pretty good. Hey, do you want to dip out a little early? Little businessman's delight. Hop in there, bust out at 3:30 and head over to the Jackets game. That's kind of a win. I'll tell you what's a win. Fog Allen Fieldhouse. That's a big, big win. We'll go over the review of our experience down in Lawrence coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off of closing costs. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.79% APR 5.82% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Common Man and Bob Capace here for Worthington Jewelers. Bobby, it's bridal sale time.
Our annual spring bridal sale is March 10th through the 21st. Buy one and get one 50% off on all bridal jewelry.
And don't miss the weekend trunk shows featuring the latest styles from the top designers. And Bobby, if custom is the choice, you're the man for that.
Absolutely. Let us make the ring of your dreams.
Check out our custom ring builder at worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
Fall is a season of change, and Hinderer Motor Company is turning over a new leaf with big savings. This is Justin Hinderer. Right now, any one of our participating locations is paying up to $3,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. That's right. Drive in your current vehicle and leave with one of ours today. Don't wait. The leaves are falling and so are the prices. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Coffee, iced cap, refreshers. Tim Hortons has all your favorite beverages. And now you can get your favorite bite for less. When you buy any size beverage, add a baked daily donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. So next time you order your favorite Tim's beverage, add something that satisfies your cravings and your wallet. The $1, $2, $3 menu. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra exclusions and terms apply.
The Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once on 2 video walls spanning 50 feet, plus over 30 TVs. Come show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings and take home memorabilia from a Cleveland basketball legend. We've also got unbeatable game day food and drinks all season long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table with up to $300 in dining credits at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If your garage floor has stains, cracks, or even the dreaded bad epoxy job, maybe one you tried to do yourself, maybe one you paid for and it didn't work out, it can make your entire garage look bad. Let's be honest about it. And maybe those botched garage floor coatings that you've had in the past have put you off of ever getting it fixed. Well, my friends, let me tell you, the people at Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings want you to know there is a fix out there. They can make your garage floor gleaming, glistening, look like a new car showroom. You call Comer & Cross at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they will come out with their pros, no subcontractors, and install a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor in just one day. Yeah, this floor is guaranteed to never chip, crack, or even show tire lift like epoxy or paint can. Never going to have that problem with Comer & Cross. Call them today, 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. It's that easy. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or you go to comercross.com. That's C-O-M-E-R cross.com. Get a new garage floor with Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings today.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. A Monday matinee for the CBJ. The Blue Jackets will host the LA Kings today at 4 o'clock. It's a makeup of a January snow out. Blue Jackets enter the week 3 points out of the final wildcard spot in the East. They'll head to Tampa to battle the Lightning on Tuesday. In college basketball, Ohio State rides their 3-game winning streak to Chicago for this week's Big Ten tournament. OSU's got a double bye into Thursday's third round. Buckeyes will play Iowa or the winner of tomorrow's first round game between Maryland and Oregon. Hear more from Ohio State Hoops today at noon on the Jake Diebler radio show. In NFL news, the Miami Dolphins will release quarterback Tua Tagovailoa with a post-June 1 designation. He'll be able to sign with a new team when the new league year begins on Wednesday. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, voted best local credit union for the last 8 years by CBUS Top Picks. Visit BMIFCU.org to learn more. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Monday edition of the program. Austin Ward on the start of Buckeye Spring Football coming up at the bottom of the hour. That would be 10:30. So I'm trying to remember how this all started. I've been running the youth basketball program in our little town for a while now, and about 2 weeks before NBC's, who's now an 8th grader, before his last year of travel basketball ended, which is in 6th grade. So that was the last year I could coach him, and then they go on to middle school, and the rest is history. But I was trying to think of something to commemorate that. And I've told the story before, but when the boys were little, I had them pick blue blood college basketball teams so that if Ohio State basketball were ever to struggle or to miss the tournament, that they would still have buy-in. That was the idea, that you still loved it. Because I loved the NCAA tournament. When I was a kid, I loved it more than anything in the world. I still love it. But I wanted them to be engaged with it. So I had them pick Blue Bloods, and NBC picked Kentucky, and Beamsy picked Kansas, and Bootsy picked North Carolina. So they picked good ones, 3 of the bluest bloods you're ever going to find. And so a couple of weeks before NBC, I said, you know what, I think I'm going to take him to a game to Kentucky. So we did, and through various connections and friends, we had this crazy experience where we get to meet Coach Cal and go to Kentucky practice and all of these crazy things that happen that are incredibly blessed to be able to do. But on the way back, and as we got home, my wife said, well, now you got to go to Kansas. And I said, well, number one, can't wait. Number two, well, that's a little different. Like, that's not a drive. I can drive to Lexington. I can't drive to Lawrence. That's a bit of a haul. But I said, okay, I got to do it. And God bless her for being the one to greenlight all of this stuff, because it's crazy, and to be on board and be very, very supportive as she's been. So this was the Lawrence weekend. I knew it was coming and was really excited for it. One of my first memories of a college basketball fan was in '86 when Danny Manning took, I want to say it was '86, got all the way to the Final Four with Kansas. And so the first ones that I remember crystallized was Danny and the Miracles in '88. That was my first crystallized college basketball memory, was their run through the NCAA tournament. I remember watching it vividly, just admired Larry Brown, the way that they played Oklahoma in the national title game. It was tied 50-50 at half, and I was in. And so I said many times growing up where I did, you just picked teams that were good. So from that point on, I rooted for Kansas and did that really all the way until I moved here. When it came to basketball, I always rooted for Kansas. So as we were getting on the plane and getting the rental car and all that stuff and heading to Lawrence, Beamsy said to me, "This is kind of a bucket list for you too, isn't it, Dad?" And I said, "Yeah, it is. Like, this is one of the places that it's on a list of I'd love to see a game there." And I would tell you that whatever your most incredible expectation of a place is, Fog Allen Fieldhouse supersedes it. It's better. It's better than you think. And it reminded me a little bit, guys, of when I went to the Hoosiers gym in Indiana, in that the second I walked into that place, I felt like I was walking onto a set of a movie. And I would say the same was true of walking into Fog Allen Fieldhouse for the first time, because you have seen it on television. If you're a college basketball fan, you've seen it on television your entire life. I mean, they've lived on Big Monday for my entire life. And I'm a man, I'm 40. So you've seen it, all of the big games. And the way that the television captures it, it is unchanged. And so when you walk into it, it looks exactly the way that you've seen it on television for all of this time. Every single thing that they do is intentioned. The line of the students, the way that they get the students in. Guys, their student section on the one end is the entire end of the stadium, of the field house. It's the entire end of it. It's all the way up to the rafters. It's the entire end. And on the other end, behind the other basket, it's most of that end. So they have a ton of students, and the students are locked in from jump. They have all of the traditions. Beamsy knew about all of them. I didn't know about some of them, but they're locked in from Jump Street. Everything they do is intentioned. The thing that was really the most stunning to me I want to say it was 90-64. They were playing K-State. It was 90-64, and at the 3-minute mark, they play this little montage, and they play the music, and then they try to break like a decibel level every time. So they try to go 120 decibel levels. And this is a 25-point game, and they're trying to break the decibel thing. And I'll have a video of it. I can post it on my social, on the X platform. There's not an empty seat. They're up 25. There's not an empty seat. Every student is still in their spot. I would say they're sitting in their seat, but they never sat the whole game. They stood the whole game, and it was never a game that was ever in question. They never moved. They stayed the entire time. It is so loud. It is so pristine, so perfect. The other thing that really jumped out to me, we can talk about some other things too, but the most friendly people I've ever met. And I'm sure I hope it's similar when people come here and go to their very first Buckeye game, but just the folks around us in the section that we were in Section F, those folks that were around us, everybody who, whether it was people working the museum or the people, anybody you'd ask any direct, they were just the nicest folks. Like, everybody was so kind and so welcoming. And it was abundantly clear that the pride that they take in being Kansas basketball is something that matters only to every single person who steps foot in that town. They preserve it. Everything that they do is so well intentioned and so well executed. It all feels like everything in that town just revolves around a game at Fog Allen Fieldhouse. I did this for the older ones, so I was going to do it for Beamsy too. I splurged and we got very, very good seats. But I'm going to tell you what, you could have sat anywhere in that place, and there isn't a bad one. There really isn't. Beamsy's like, "Can we walk all the way to the top?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go up there." After the game, we walked all the way to the top, and we sat down up there, and I'm like, "This would have been great. I could have watched this sucker right here, and it would have been perfect." It was whatever. I can't see any scenario where Carolina beats it. I don't know how there's a scenario where there are many places in America that beat it. There was a very comfortable feel to it. there's kind of a Wrigley Field feel to it as well, like as if you're walking into a cathedral. And I'm sure that there are places in sport that are similar, but when you walk into that place, you feel like you're walking into history to be a part of it, and they've completely wrapped their arms around all of it. I don't know how you could find a better collegiate experience in any sport anywhere than that one there. There are others that are of equal. Certainly, Ohio Stadium on a Saturday night is right there. I mean, that's there. I'm sure Notre Dame Stadium at there's certain places. This is one of them. It is a cathedral of the sport of college basketball, and it is a 10 out of 10 in every single way.
2 questions, not addressed in terms of importance, but what did you think of the red uniforms? Because I was surprised they did that. And then the Darren Peterson experience, how was it?
I'll answer both. So the red, I hate the red too. Guess who else hates the red?
Yeah.
Bill Self. Bill Self hates the red.
They have to wear those blues.
So
right?
The reason that they wear the reds is and everything there is documented. So there's a reason for everything. That's what I meant when I said everything is so well intentioned. The reason they wear the red, Devontae Graham, who was an All-American there about a decade ago, he loved the red uniforms, and he begged Bill Self, "Can I wear them on Senior Day?" And so Self said, "Okay, fine, you can." And so that's how that red uniform tradition started, was with that. And so they wear the red uniforms on Senior Day. Yes, I don't prefer the reds versus all the other uniforms they have, and Bill Self doesn't like them either, but I guess it's a Devontae Graham thing where he asked to do it, and so now it's kind of become tradition. That's the other thing too. All of these little traditions, I mean, guys, they got 16 birds on campus. They got a Jayhawk, like they've redesigned the Jayhawk. Now, they've had this one kind of similar for over 60 years, but there were like 5 different Jayhawks that were drawn that were basically cartoon Jayhawks leading up to it. They're all memorialized around campus. Every single thing. It's Naismith Street, like it's Sunflower Road, like it's all of these things. Everything is in homage to the history and the tradition of all of it. So to me, it's like as big a hit as you're ever going to find in terms of the experience of it. The Darren Peterson experience, by the way, we have some breaking news I'm just seeing here, so I'll get back into the Peterson stuff in a second.
Okay.
I'm going to do the breaking news right now,
Sure.
and then we can get back into this because we're doing a sports talk show, so it's a little bit different. This is a very serious topic. Joey Kaufman, among others, reporting Ohio State President Ted Carter has resigned over an inappropriate relationship with someone seeking public resources to support her personal business. So this news just breaking now. Are you guys seeing any more beyond that?
Nothing beyond that. The dispatch had it, and everything that you just said is all that we have right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just I mean, that is a massive story for the university. Ted Carter had been front and center of much of the fundraising that has been done. He has been walking hand in hand with Ross Bjork on everything in terms of, from our perspective, the athletic department and what happens with all of it, in terms of how money is spent, in terms of leadership into the NIL era, in terms of leadership, in terms of the Big Ten, SEC, the television contracts, all of the things. Expansion of the college football playoff. He's been locked in on all of that. I have not met a single person up until this point who has said anything negative about Ted Carter, that their experience with him has been a 10 out of 10 on all fronts. But obviously, this is massive news on campus. Ohio State President Ted Carter is out at Ohio State after he disclosed an inappropriate relationship with someone seeking public resources to support her personal business. So the details on this will continue to trickle out. He's, from a president standpoint, probably the most forward-facing president Ohio State's had since Gordon Gee. Is that fair?
Yeah, I believe so.
He was everywhere.
Certainly the most athletic. I mean, he was at every sporting event for the time he was here. It's at about a 2-year run for him. Is that what it amounts to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says here, one of the board of trustees says that a succession plan or a transition plan will be shared later this week.
Okay. Well, we will have more on this breaking news. I'll give you the Darren Peterson experience. Also, two things that I think Ohio State could have learned and should learn from Kansas. We'll get into all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
There's an old story about cat toys that's been retold for over 20 years because it perfectly explains who we are. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Years ago, a couple who shared their house with 3 cats had another company out to look at their furnace. After working on it, the technician said it was dangerous and had to be replaced. The couple called Care for a second opinion, and my dad Mike went out to help them. When he inspected the furnace, the cause of the problem became obvious. A cat toy had been stuffed into the heat exchanger. With the toy removed, the furnace ran perfectly. Now, how did the toy get there? You can decide for yourself, but here's what mattered then and still matters now. The first company paid commissions to their service techs to sell new furnaces. At Care, we pay our technicians to fix furnaces, not sell you a new one. And if a new furnace is needed, our team of replacement specialists will advise you on all options available and help you make your best choice. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Get more from your everyday spending. Open a new Visa Signature from Kemba Financial Credit Union and earn $300 cash back when you spend $3,000 in the first 90 days. That's real money back in your pocket just for using your card on the things you already buy. Don't miss out. Apply at Kemba.org and start earning your $300 cashback bonus. Offer ends 3/31/26. Restrictions apply. Variable rate product. Equal opportunity lender.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending, the original home of the no closing cost mortgage. With interest rates at their lowest level in 4 years, what's stopping you from taking advantage? Maybe it's the thousands of dollars in closing cost? Well, what if I told you that those costs aren't required and that you decide whether to sacrifice $15,000 to $20,000 of equity at closing or zero? At Miller Lending, we're all about zero and have been offering no-cost loans since 1987. With no title closing or origination fees, imagine having the freedom to refinance any time a lower rate becomes available or a need arises. Even 0.5% lower in rate results in savings of over $100,000 over the life of your loan. So why wait? No-cost loans are real and here to stay. Simply call Miller Lending and see why thousands of satisfied clients have made that choice to say goodbye to closing costs forever. 877-9-NO-COST. That's 877-9-NO-COST. Or simply apply online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Remember the old days when football used to have an off-season? Well, we at The Fan think that really sucked. That's why we bring you Austin and Berm, America's #1 resource for Buckeye football conversation, is voted by Fake Surveys Incorporated. Catch their daily podcast called The Beat and their breaking news podcast, Snap Judgments, as they broadcast live from Roosters on Mondays, and they come right to your house and massage your tender areas. They'll do it all. Austin and Berm on the Fan's YouTube channel and 10TV+. Your favorite Fan shows are available as a podcast. What a concept! And don't miss exclusive podcast content like Austin and Berm. Listen on your schedule from anywhere in the world. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A beautiful day today as we kick off the work week with plenty of sunshine, breezy winds, and highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. For tonight, clouds will increase overnight with our lows in the 50s. And then for Tuesday, we do have a chance of some spotty showers and storms. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies and very mild with highs in the mid-70s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
The Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed, you are. We're proudly sponsored and brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Settler, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. Some breaking news if you're just joining us. The Dispatch, among others, now reporting that Ohio State President Ted Carter is out. He is out for, quote, someone for an inappropriate relationship with, quote, someone seeking public resources to support her personal business. So a lot of layers to this thing, a lot of embarrassment to this thing. Will be interesting to see, statements on both sides of it. Have we seen anything official from Ohio State yet? One of you had something from a board of trustees.
Yeah, they're one of their the chair of the board of trustees said that they are going to give us a plan later in the week, or they will share a succession plan later in the week with the student body.
So in the Dispatch reporting, Carter 66 resigned over the weekend after a rare 3-hour executive session of the board. Carter told trustees in advance of that meeting that he had an inappropriate relationship with someone seeking public resources to support her personal business. According to University of Statement, he offered to resign and the board accepted. So, as I mentioned, the most forward-facing Ohio State president since Gordon Gee, the most athletically inclined since Gordon Gee. He was almost as everywhere as Gordon Gee was. Gordon Gee had a bow tie. Ted Carter had a bomber jacket. But he was everywhere and was incredibly popular among, I think, everybody up until this point. So this is a shocking turn of events on the Ohio State side of things. If there is a development on this front, we will bring it to you, and sometimes that happens. You had asked the question, we were talking a little bit about the experience down in Lawrence at Kansas. You'd asked about the Darren Peterson experience. So oddly enough, I was on the exact same flight with his parents on the way back. So both connections, and we're on the same flight with them, and bumped into the mom who I sat with all those years ago when he was 15 years old and watched him play in high school. And I said then, he's the best high school basketball player I've ever seen. He's among the best college players I've ever seen. Everything comes so easy for him. He had 27 on 10 of 15. He had 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Guys, he could have had 47 if he wanted to. It was so easy, so effortless. I told Beamsy as we were sitting there watching it, typically if you're watching a player that things come easy for, that means that they worked incredibly hard to get there. And there's not a shot he can't make, none of it. But I'm guessing what you're asking mostly about Darren Peterson, because we all know he can play basketball, is what is it like watching him interact with everybody around the team? From everything I could tell, they loved him. They loved him. He was constantly messing around with other guys on the team. I didn't see anything that would lead you to believe that he was not a massive part of the family. He had all sorts of things that he was, all sorts of dances and hand slaps and all this stuff he was doing with everybody. A couple of the seniors mentioned him specifically to thank him for when they did their senior day stuff at the end, which I thought was really cool. By the way, the student sections on both ends stayed for the entire senior day post-game speeches. Like it was 35 minutes. They stayed, all of them stayed for all of it. They stuck all of that out. So I would say that there was Darren Peterson got washed up, and we were a part of it. He got washed up in what is happening here? Why is there not a better explanation of this? And it became kind of like the number one sports talk topic. And before the NFL Combine, it was probably the number one sports talk topic in this country for a week or so. But if you've watched what he's been doing for the last month, it flipped. And I think it all flipped when was it the Oklahoma State game where he had 23 at half and didn't play in the second half? And Self said, well, he can change this if he plays. Like, we've been dealing with this for a while. Well, he's played since and played brilliantly, and he's good enough. I was talking to some folks in our section, and this was a little bit too close to home for them. I could see him doing a Carmelo Anthony, because the rest of their team is such that they could support him for sure. I could see him putting a team on his back. Ironically enough, Carmelo Anthony led Syracuse to the national championship by beating Kansas in the national championship game. So there is a little bit of that to it as well. I mentioned there's a couple of things that Ohio State could have learned and could still learn from KU. Number one, they never should have stopped playing at St. John Arena. We've all known it. You got to go back to that moment in time around here, and I've talked about it a bunch. There was a race to build a multi-purpose arena in town that could host concerts and venues and all of that. And I think Andy Geiger probably, when you're an athletic director, you're known for hiring coaches, firing coaches, especially the football and basketball coach, and you're known for building buildings. And he got a chance to build a building on campus, something that you don't know if it'll ever happen again. But the reality is they probably should have just done everything in their power to make St. John Arena great. Because when you think about walking into St. John and the impact that has on fans, on alumni, on prospective recruits. Guys, I don't know how the University of Kansas ever loses a recruit. I really don't. If you walked into that place, you walked into their basketball facility, it's all connected, by the way. I don't know how they would ever lose a recruit. If it's a recruiting battle with them, I don't know how they lose. I really don't.
Don't they have like an Adidas office just located on campus?
It's incredible. Everything is so, that's what I meant by everything so well-intentioned. But, yeah, I just sat there and go, God, we have a great barn. Is St. John Fog Allen? No, but it's our Fog Allen, and it's now a weight room. And it's probably one of those things where that money that was spent on the shot could have been used to modernize St. John and make it. Guys, I paid an exorbitant amount of money to sit on what amounted to a metal bleacher. Didn't matter. It didn't matter. The fat cats were sitting in the same seats around us that we were. Like, it really didn't matter. Like, because what mattered was what happened on the court. And that's one of those things. I'm not suggesting that historically Ohio State basketball is in the vicinity of Kansas. What I'm saying is, if you have something special, leave it alone or try to enhance it the best you can. What Ohio State, I think, could learn from KU, and Bake, you were down there. When you walk into Lawrence, when you're on campus and you walk into Fog Allen Fieldhouse for the first time, the main doors you walk into lead right into a museum of Kansas athletic history. So the first thing you see to the left when you walk in is the original "Pay Heed, Beware of the Fog." That sign, you see that right away. And then you see the national championship trophies, the retired, all the stuff that's all of the history. It's an incredible museum. It's open every day. It's free to go in. If you think about like the Ohio State sports artifacts, they're all at the facilities. The average fan can't walk into the Woody Hayes and see it. They can't see the national championships, the Heismans, all of it. They need to be able to. When they throw all this money into the shoe, take that stuff and put it at the shoe and make it part of that tour of the shoe. It should be something that everybody can go in and see. You can walk in and you can see the original rules of basketball that Dr. James Naismith wrote on paper. You can just go see them. They're open all the time. You don't have to be a member of the basketball team or the media to see it. It's all there. And I thought that was awesome. I think that was something that Ohio State could really learn from. Take that football stuff that's at the Woody, the Heismans, the national titles, all that stuff. The only people who see it are coaches, players, recruits, and media. Make that available for your fan base to see so that they continue to be connected to it. It shouldn't be something you have to be privileged to be able to see.
Yeah, with with all of that tradition, Cameron Indoor, there's so few places.
This is two Camerons, basically. Yeah. Cameron's like 8,000, 9,000. This is 15.
So, Bo, I've never gotten to go to a game at Fog Allen, but I've done what you talked about there. Mm-hmm. I've been to Fog Allen. I've been through the museum and seen all of that. It's awesome, and opened the doors and looked in, and you can just tell it's an old school basketball arena. It just has that feel, and it's you almost get chills. And I wasn't even there for a game, but you almost get chills just opening that up and looking in there and seeing that. And you're right, it is very cool, and it's such a great way to not only connect your fans to the history, but just fans in general. I'm not a Kansas basketball fan, right, but I was out there, so it was something that I had to go see. Mm-hmm. And you get to see all that and learn a little more about it. And just think of all the people that come to Central Ohio every day that have no rooting interest in the Buckeyes, but they're here for business or whatever. Mm-hmm. What if they want to go see the shot and take a look at it? Not the shot, excuse me, the shoe. Geesh. And, there should be somewhere where these people can take a look and see some of that stuff. And as you mentioned, the Heismans, the tradition, all of that. It is a great job out of Kansas, the way they do that.
So they're going to put that restaurant in the shoe. Make room for this.
Mm-hmm.
Because, so as you walk in, you see this incredible museum of artifacts in the history of the sport and Wilt Chamberlain and all the stuff. And by the way, this is where you ought to really pay attention, Ohio State. Just to the right is maybe the best merch store I've ever seen. Like every player's jersey, anything you wanted. Like for Beamsy, it was Xanadu. Anything that he was all there. Like it was, but you go to the museum and then you walk into a store where you buy the gear. You think how many people go to the shoe to see it? If there's a museum there that has the Heismans, that has the national championships, that has those artifacts, now all of a sudden you have a connective tissue with your fan base, or to Baker's point, people who don't even root for you but just want to see the horseshoe once. This allowed you to see it all the time and to be a piece of that history, and it was easy. And it was, for them, it was free. Like, you'd come on in anytime you want and just be able to go see it. It was really cool how they married the past to the history. I thought it was an A++ across the board. Obviously, the breaking news of the day, Ohio State President Ted Carter is out. Austin, I'm sure, trying to catch up on this like we all are. We will get to that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Baths R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Baths R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate, or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment?
On any 4-tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $160 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyear's and save up to $160 more. See store for details.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post 9/11 veterans and their families realize what's possible. With support and resources that bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, both inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing, to get the help you need, to find peace.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and 32-ounce Yingling drafts for only $4. He knows everything about the Buckeyes. He's been offered tens of dollars by a certain team to spill his secrets. He's told that certain team to go to hell.
Damn you all to hell!
He's Austin Ward.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Kids eat half off every Monday. Find a location and menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank Distillery.
All right, buddy. So among the things we could have talked about today, I mean, we get spring football, and we will get into that. That starts tomorrow. You got Bruce Thornton becoming the all-time leading scorer in the history of the program, and Ohio State now feeling, to me, like firmly in the NCAA tournament. And then out of nowhere on a Monday, Ohio State University President Ted Carter resigned his position after the university told trustees about an inappropriate relationship, one that led from a private business looking for public funds. So this got really messy really quick. I know you're catching up like I'm sure all of us are. I've said in the last segment, he's the most forward-facing, athletically present Ohio State president since Gordon Gee by a pretty wide margin, and by my account was universally beloved by almost anyone who interacted with him. What do you make of this story? What are you hearing?
Yeah, well, the good news or at least for me, Bo, on the what am I hearing part is that I will leave that to the academic reporters and and stick in my lane. But you're 100% right that Ted Carter did veer over into the athletic realm a lot more than some of his predecessors have, at least in my 15 years now covering Ohio State. And so he and Ross Bjork, I think, had a very similar-minded approach to the way that the football program specifically, but athletics as a whole, were going to be funded. So he was involved in that. He was very front-facing. You think about the national title celebration and Ted Carter being up front for that and making presentations and giving speeches. And, I think specific to the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, some of the moves that have been made to bring in an Arthur Smith, to keep Matt Patricia around, to expand the coaching staff have been made because you go to Ross Bjork and then Ross Bjork has to go to his boss. Yes, he's got one of those, and that was Ted Carter. You never know what you're going to get, and athletics is not going to be necessarily front of mind for Ohio State as it now tries to replace Ted Carter at the top. But in terms of a steward and an ambassador at the presidential level for Ohio State athletics, they had one that everybody really liked. So what does this mean moving forward for them? I will leave that to people much more familiar with that stuff. I'm really glad today that I get to talk about spring football starting tomorrow and maybe the NCAA tournament, and not be required to chase down some of those stories because it does not seem like a very fun time for anybody. Ohio State, I know for sure, Bo, and you and I can both say this confidently, thought they had somebody to stabilize that position. He was under contract for 3 more years after this, and obviously that was not the case.
Well, and beyond that, from the sports side of things, like I really assumed and believed, and I believe this to be true, that he and Ross were walking hand in hand together as a big-time forward-facing leadership of this university, not just here locally, but Big Ten. That in terms of playoff expansion, television deal, Tony Petitti, we're going to get more in this if we do private equity. We're going to get more than everybody else. Like he was at the front of all of that, as you know.
Yeah, and beyond that. There's at some point, there were going to be ramped up broadcast conversations into the future. There's not just college football playoff expansion, but whatever this next realm is going to look like, because, you talk about this, I think, more than anybody, Bo, about the possibility of the super leagues, the, joining of forces in a lot of ways with the SEC, that at some point this adversarial relationship cannot continue between the Big Ten and the SEC. They're going to have to join hands the way that Ted Carter and Ross Bjork had at Ohio State to see college football and college athletics into the future. So all of that was expected to happen with Ted Carter's influence and leadership and his knowledge of the way that athletics works across the landscape. So, whether we – and I think that this is still true, like the academic part is far and away most important. The endowments, the medical center, all those things are more important to the day-to-day of a university president. But you can't have no athletic background, in my opinion, because that's the most forward-facing part of any program. They would often call it the doormat. I think that undermines the importance. But if you're going to introduce somebody to what Ohio State is as a whole, a lot of that is done through the football program in the athletic department. So you have to have some sort of background in that. You have to be an expert in it, maybe not, but they are going to have to work closely with Ross Bjork and Ryan Day and Jake Diebler and everybody else into the future. And so this adds another wrinkle to an already chaotic time in college athletics.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, Ohio State President Ted Carter out for a inappropriate relationship, tendered his resignation, was accepted by the board over the weekend. Normally, you and I would have done 15 minutes of football, so let's give him half of that. You have spring football opening tomorrow. You're going to need name tags. Do I have this right? Upwards of 40 new faces being there tomorrow. Is this the biggest turnover of the roster that you've seen since you've been around? Got to be.
Yeah, without a doubt. I don't even know that it's close, Bo. We had Ryan Day, a nice little off-the-record meet and greet with the staff on Thursday night. So won't share all of the details that came out of that, but Ryan stood up in the front of that room at Roosters and said, and I think he said the number was around 51. He said, make sure that you guys have your flip card on Tuesday. And I talked, and this is not going to be news, and I'm not revealing anything that I think is private information or sensitive. There were coaches in there that were like, yeah, there were days you'd go in to see what Mickey Marotti and Anthony Schlegel were doing with the workouts, and they didn't immediately recognize every face in there. And that's a little bit hyperbolic, but I know that they are just as excited as we are for them to have a roster and for them to put their numbers on so that the names and faces and everything matches up. I think that they've got a better feel for that than they might have hinted because of the recruiting backgrounds and relationships that have been built. But I think the point still stands. This is a dramatic overhaul, and it is. You think about, the 53-man roster of an NFL team. This is an entire NFL-sized roster that has been turned over for Ohio State. They have a ton of talent that's still back, which is important. We know that a lot of the starting jobs on offense, you could pretty much pencil in who's going to be where for the majority of that. And even on defense, you still have plenty of, Edric Houston is not a quote-unquote returning starter, but it's not as if they didn't still have 40 key pieces that were in the program to supplement that and build around. But this is the, biggest spring in terms of test of can the veterans make sure that the culture and the brotherhood and all that. I know that people get sick of the buzzwords at times, but you still don't win championships without that leadership, without a common ground and a path forward mentality wise. So it's just as important for those 30-ish guys who have been key contributors for Ohio State to build on that this spring as it is to get these 50 new faces up to speed in a hurry starting tomorrow.
There's a million angles we could take on this, but and we'll get into all of it over the course of the next month in terms of the Arthur Smith offense, some of the position battles, especially defensively. But I was just thinking about this, just from a built-in leadership perspective. 2 years ago, and it wasn't like this in spring, but it became this. I mean, you had Mac offensively, and then Will obviously grabbed the program by the throat in the fall. Jack and JT on the defensive side. Last year, Sonny and Caleb. Who's leading here? Because the best players, I don't know if they're necessarily outward leaders. Like, is that something Julian is willing to do? Is that something Jeremiah is willing to do? They would be the ones that you would say, well, those got to be the guys. Who's leading these guys?
Yeah, they do have a little bit of a head start with Austin Sareveld and Brandon Ennis. They have two captains back. But to your point, Bo, like Austin Sareveld is still not – he's willing to go talk. It's not his forte in terms of being, a poster child and a speaker for the program. That's not – he leads by example. Brandon Ennis is a bigger talker, but, to think about the production level from a year ago – that's not something that necessarily he goes out and proves that every single Saturday. I don't mean that as a slight to him because in the workouts and everything else, he's earned that acclaim. But if you're talking about the combination of that, Julian Sayin is a Heisman Trophy finalist and Jeremiah Smith is the best player in college football. How much more can they take on to set the tone for Ohio State? How much do they need to? A quarterback is going to be influential on every single snap. And so will Julian ever be at the Will Howard rah excitement level? I don't know. That's not his personality, but we've also seen in the past, and you mentioned Kyle McCord before Will Howard, if you don't have some of that pure alpha in you, it gets really difficult to get through the type of schedule that Ohio State's going to play in the regular season and to win 3 or 4 games in a playoff. So, I think that Julian doesn't maybe get enough credit for his competitiveness, but and we also saw him taking in real time last year the next step. He does learn from things, that whether it's press conferences or talking to the team. I thought he got a lot better at that as the year went on, and now we'll continue to monitor that starting in practice tomorrow. But, he's going to have to do more of that. He's got more built-in credibility with a year as a starter. I think that will help. Nobody has to bat an eye. They know how hard Jeremiah Smith is going to work. They don't question the productivity. He maybe doesn't have to take on some of that public conversation because he carries so much weight in the locker room. But all those things that we mentioned, that's all on the offensive side. I think that Peyton Pierce will do this, and Kenyatta Jackson already had command of the locker room on defense. Jalen McLean has not done a ton of, public conversation for Ohio State. But those 3 guys on defense, I think they have to grab the reins of that. But they can't do it alone. So they're going to need 1 or 2 other guys, whether that's Jermaine Matthews, Devin Sanchez, Edric Houston. I think we know who the contenders are to do that, and this will be a really key spring to see what that actually looks like in real life situations.
Well said, brother. As always, we'll do it again next week. Thanks for your time.
All right. See you, Bill.
There he goes, Austin Ward, the Beat with Austin Berman, Letterman Rowe, and the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Breaking news of the day, Ohio State President Ted Carter out for an inappropriate relationship, tendered his resignation to the board over the weekend. The board accepted. It's just breaking here within the last hour. We hit a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
This is a Daily Show with Coach Jake Diebler, brought to you by Encova Insurance. 91-78 the final. Ohio State with a victory over Indiana. Jake, there had to be a lot to like about today.
Unbelievable performance by our guys. Unbelievable environment from Buckeye Nation and the massive amount of people that help kick this game off. Just so thankful. Honestly, I just praise God that, he helped assemble this group of men in this program for this year, and that we were able to have this type of environment and end our regular season, here like this. It was really something special.
Coach, what are some of the reasons why your team is playing so well defensively?
Ron, we and you guys have been around us. There's just an unbelievable chemistry with this group. You try to manufacture that right over time when you get together in June, but from day one there was something organic and special about this group regarding that. And I think we've had a chance to practice, we've had a chance to stack some days, and we're seeing improvement defensively, we're seeing improvement offensively. These guys are still practicing hard. You guys watch us. I mean, we're getting better, we're working, and I'm so thankful for this group.
All right, we'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. Basketball is full of challenging shots, and life can be too. With Encova, you don't have to do it alone. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
91-78 the final. Ohio State defeats Indiana. Jake, can you begin to put into words the special element that Bruce Thornton brings?
I mean, it's hard. I don't know what else to say. I can't. I enjoy talking about him, but this one, honestly, there's an emotional element to this. What he's meant, to our new program these last 2 years, the trust, the relationship that we have. Everybody sees how hard he plays, how much better he's improved over his career. Just thankful for him and who he is.
This is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like a stylishly affordable Corolla. Now through March 31st, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 26 Corolla, Corolla Hybrid, or Corolla Cross. Excludes GR Corolla. Or lease a new gas-powered Corolla LE for $199 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The nightmare of the cleared drain. Those drain clearing specials from the other guys seem like a great deal until you realize the only thing really going down your drain is your money. At the Waterworks, we mean clean. Our service doesn't just clear your drains, it cleans them too. It's done right the first time, so that nightmare of a drain becomes a dream come true. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call 614-232-2222 to get started.
I started my first business when I was 12, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I learned if you do the job right, people trust you and customers care that you show up and do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. When you care about the people you serve, you work harder, and it shows. Call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
And if you're just joining us, the breaking news of the hour, Ohio State President Ted Carter is out. He informed the board over the weekend of an inappropriate relationship that he was having with someone who was in the private sector who was looking for public funding, and the board accepted that resignation. That news becoming public here within the last half hour or so. We'll keep you updated as information comes to us and becomes available on that side of things. Time for a little thing or not a thing on a Monday. Hit it, guys.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
The NFL's new league year will begin Wednesday at 4 o'clock. The legal tampering period begins today at noon, which makes this news weird then, because Adam Schefter reported this morning the Dolphins are going to release Tua Tagovailoa with a post-June 1st designation. Schefter says by cutting Tagovailoa, Miami will take on an NFL record $99 million in dead money split over 2 years. Thing or not a thing?
So I was curious how the Dolphins were going to do this. I was curious how the Cardinals were going to do it. I told you guys at the Combine that both these guys, it was abundantly clear both these guys would be made available. I was just curious if they were going to eat it in terms of the cap hit. And the answer to that is yes. That this is now what teams are doing. This is similar to what Denver did, and I'm sure it's a copycat league. Denver did this with Russell Wilson, like just suffer it, take on the slings and arrows for a year, and then try to get back in the draft. And so that's what happened here. While I think Kyler Murray will find a landing spot very quickly, and my hunch is he will end up in a very good place. Tua, I'm a little bit more clueless on in terms of where he could land. There are certain limitations. There are the concussion stuff that is really, really troublesome and worrisome. Quite honestly, if he retired at this point, and you would say to yourself, I get it, man. Like, he's been through a lot. Would feel like it would have to be a dome team. I tell you, I could see him in Atlanta really easily on a bargain basement playing for Kevin Stefanski. I think he would be able to execute that offense at a very high level. So something to watch for. But I think the biggest thing with this is teams are just following the lead of the Denver Broncos and taking the beat down on the cap hit for a year and then trying to get back quickly.
This is a major thing. This also from Adam Schefter. Four quarterbacks: Tua Tagovailoa, Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins. Tua $54 million, Kyler $36.8, Geno Smith $18.5, and Kirk Cousins $10 million. Will be released, but still guaranteed $119.3 million combined from their previous teams. Also, Tua, who we got to remember was the 5th pick in the draft, has a 44-32 record as a starter. He's passed for over 18,000 yards in his career, 120 touchdowns, 59 interceptions. Could Tua Tagovailoa be the next Sam Darnold, where he goes somewhere else and just tears it up? Because I don't think Tua was terrible with the Miami Dolphins, and when they put weapons around him, he actually put up some really, really good numbers. And I think the Miami Dolphins are a franchise that just seems to never be able to get over the hump. I don't know who their quarterback would be that would get them over the hump. So I think a lot of teams should be looking at Tua here because there's a lot worse you can do. There may be a ceiling with Tua, but his floor is pretty daggone high and close to it.
There's no question. Yeah, I mean, that's why I think, to me, like Atlanta would make a ton of sense. Play in a dome, great weapons, play caller who wants you to see it and spin it. I mean, he did that with Mike McDaniel. So,
guys, Jeremy Fears did it again. On Sunday, Michigan State's point guard was called for a technical foul after a video review showed he swung his right leg backward into the groin of Michigan's Elliot Cadeau during the first half of Michigan State's 90-80 loss in Ann Arbor. Fears said after the game, quote, "I got fouled. I should have probably just fell. It's an unfortunate situation," end quote. Spartans coach Tom Izzo said he didn't think Fears kicked Cadeau on purpose, but he says he chewed him out on it during the game. Izzo spoke with CBS Sports' Tracy Wolfson before the second half of the contest.
You know what? It's all because of what happened earlier, and now every microscope's on him. I don't like that, okay? But I told him I don't even want him breathing wrong. But the fouls is what's killing us. The fouls on the offensive boards. Other than that, I thought we're playing pretty good.
It's at least the third time he's done something like this season. Thing or not a thing?
Yeah. It's a thing. Have you guys, I did not see the video of this. So is this as bad as the other ones have been?
Yeah.
Where it's abundantly clear what he's attempting to do?
1,000%.
Yeah.
It looks like Ric Flair.
Okay. So the other two, I mean, I'd seen the other one, so I knew that if this was in that realm, then yeah. He should be suspended. The player should be suspended. It's enough. It's enough. There has to be accountability. Tom Izzo ought to know that as much as anybody. He's Mr. Accountability. Hold you guys accountable. Suspend him.
I love Tom Izzo, but Tom, you're dead wrong. And hopefully you didn't see the play. Hopefully since you've seen it. And I would hope you're handling this internally. But the Big Ten should step in here and say you're out the first game of the Big Ten tournament. This is ridiculous. Okay, you got fouled. The guy hit you in the back. That does not deserve a mule kick into the groin.
No.
Somebody's got to do something about this guy. And I got to be honest. If I'm playing him and I'm losing in a game in the Big Ten tournament, and I know I've talked all about respect, this is the most disrespectful thing this dude can do, and he keeps doing it, I'd cold cock him. He comes down the lane, I'm knocking him out.
I would say that with the exception of spitting in someone's face, this would be the second most disrespectful thing you could do. Fair? Spitting in the face first, kick to the groin too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
I just don't understand why they're letting this guy do this.
It's enough. I mean, he should be shut down. Big Ten, NCAA, Tom Izzo himself. And to be fair, I'm glad you had that distinction in there, Break. Important, Izzo was interviewed coming out of half or going into half.
Coming out.
So he at the time with the audio that we played, we have no idea if he'd seen it.
Well, they had gone to video review to assess
so he looked up
the technical. So how could he not have is my question.
Fair. That's
right?
fair then, Reese.
Tom, they stopped play, went to a video review. Everybody got to see it. They assessed a technical, and you're still coming out with that comment?
Do we know what the path is to them in the Big Ten tournament? Like who could get to them? Yeah.
They're down on the bottom side. They get the bye all the way to the quarters. They're either the 2 or the 3?
They're the 3.
Okay, so they will get the winner of UCLA versus Rutgers, Minnesota on Friday night in the late game.
Who's a thug on one of those teams that could just lay him out?
Beat him up.
Like he comes down the lane for a layup and
I know who. Mick Cronin.
Just stick a leg out and trip him.
Yeah. Mick Cronin did fight him in a second.
Where's Bill Lambier, Dennis Rodman when we need them?
Where are they at, man? Well, you're Mick Cronin. Mick could do it. Mick could give him a flying burrito if he wanted one. Final hour of the program coming up next. Aaron Portzline, 11:30 on the Jackets coming out of the deadline and the week ahead for them. The breaking news of the day, Ohio State President Ted Carter is out. Get you the details on that. Blitz the weekend coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
College is great. You know what else is great? Pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of the Ohio State University. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. I have some basic expectations at my house, one of which is that when I come in from outside, it feels more comfortable in my house and not feel like the temperature outside. I don't think that's too much to ask. However, if you have old, drafty windows that are letting in some of the air from outside, your house isn't as energy efficient. Your house won't stay the temperature that you're setting it at. You can help address that by getting some new windows from Window Nation. Window Nation has high-quality, energy-efficient products, and with one simple consultation, their experts will visit your home, find your problem areas, and make recommendations. Plus, once you find the windows you want, they can be installed within one day. With Window Nation, your house won't just look great, but you'll also have peace of mind because all Window Nation products are backed by a lifetime warranty. Plus, in March, the more you buy, the more you save. Up to 50% off all window styles. And be sure to ask about Window Nation's generous financing options, including $0 down and payments as little as $199 a month. Schedule your free consultation today. Go to windownation.com. Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If your garage floor has stains, cracks, or even the dreaded bad epoxy job, maybe one you tried to do yourself, maybe one you paid for and it didn't work out, it can make your entire garage look bad. Let's be honest about it. And maybe those botched garage floor coatings that you've had in the past have put you off of ever getting it fixed. Well, my friends, let me tell you, the people at Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings want you to know there is a fix out there. They can make your garage floor gleaming, glistening, look like a new car showroom. You call Comer & Cross at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they will come out with their pros, no subcontractors, and install a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor in just one day. Yeah, this floor is guaranteed to never chip, crack, or even show tire lift like epoxy or paint can. Never going to have that problem with Comer & Cross. Call them today, 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. It's that easy. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or you go to comercross.com. That's C-O-M-E-R cross.com. Get a new garage floor with Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings today.
Hey, folks, winter is here. The number one cost for everyone each month are those pesky heating bills that never stop increasing. It is time to take action and do something about it. Call USA Insulation today and get your home insulated with our premium foam for only $99 a month. Interest-free. That's right, $99 a month. You can have a warm, cozy home that you and your family deserves. 529-2440. 529-2440 or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
BMI FCU is celebrating their 90th anniversary all year long with monthly sweepstakes. Open a BMI FCU Visa credit card. Enjoy rates lower than the national average and a special rate on balance transfers. Apply today at bmifcu.org/visa.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Ohio State University announced President Ted Carter's resignation this morning after it was revealed Carter had an inappropriate relationship with someone seeking public resources to support a personal business. The 66-year-old Carter was appointed president in January of 2024. Ohio State's Board of Trustees says a transition plan will be released later this week. Not counting interim, Ohio State's had 3 presidents since 2020. In college hoops, Ohio State rides a 3-game winning streak to Chicago for this week's Big Ten tournament. OSU has a double bye to Thursday's 3rd round. Buckeyes will play Iowa or the winner of tomorrow's 1st round game between Maryland and Oregon. Hear more from Ohio State hoops today at noon on the Jake Diebler Radio Show. And in the NHL, the Blue Jackets host the LA Kings today at 4 o'clock. This update is sponsored by Germain Toyota. For unbeatable service and sales, visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
You just heard from the Handsome Update anchor there, Ted Carter out at Ohio State for an inappropriate relationship with someone in the private sector who was seeking public funds, disclosed it over the weekend to the board, and the board accepted that resignation. The news becoming official today. We'll get into the specifics on the major blow that this would be for the athletic department. The most forward-facing athletic department liking president that Ohio State has had, certainly since Gordon Gee. I mean, he was omnipresent at everywhere. Gee had the bow tie, and Ted Carter had the bomber jacket, but he was every place you were, he was there, and really was one of the faces of the university. So this is a shocking turn of events, and where does Ohio State go from here? I'll give full credit to my buddy Ben Axelrod at Awful Announcing. Jim Tressel, interim president. Can you be the interim vice president of the Lieutenant Governor of Ohio and the interim president of Ohio State at the same time? Tress could probably do it.
There were quite a few people in the YouTube chat that threw Tress's name out there right away.
Is it weird? And I guess it speaks to the time we're in. I instantly thought of, like, who's Polymarket going to put up there for next odds to be the president? And, like, how much money is going to be actually bet or wagered, or it's the prediction market, not necessarily gambling. So how much money goes to who's going to be next up at Ohio State? Because 3 since 2020 is a really, really bad look.
Did you just come up with a way to make NIL money?
I think he just did.
Wow, I would
think that all just happened.
Not want to take that kind of prediction market money and use it towards NIL efforts at the Ohio State University right now.
Sounds like there's some kind of game here we can play.
Let's blitz the weekend and get out of trouble.
Bishop and Friends present a Weekend Sports Blitz.
Sponsored by Metal Supermarkets. Visit metalsupermarkets.com/Columbus for all your metal needs.
I believe I had that. What did you have, Vic?
I believe I had that Cbus is a big sports town, and the city of Columbus can handle a lot. And boy, did they do that on Saturday. We had a packed full house at the Shot for Bruce Thornton's senior night. You had over 20,000 at the home opener for the Columbus Crew. Yeah. You had almost 19,000 at the Shot in an electric game and atmosphere there that evening. And you also had the Arnold going on.
Yeah.
So the Arena District was a little bit of a mess. Traffic was a little more nerving than usual, but Columbus showed up and showed out on Saturday, and I didn't think there was ever a doubt that that would be the case.
No, we can handle things. We're fine. We're good to go. We can handle it.
After the moves that have been made for the Blue Jackets by General Manager Don Waddell going into the trade deadline, I had immense confidence that coming out of that 3 o'clock Friday, the Blue Jackets would be a better team. If they got healthier, if they would make the proper acquisitions. Did they get the 30-goal score that Baker really wanted? No. But I think the earlier season acquisition of Mason Marchment and then Connor Garland at Friday's deadline made this team better when they are fully healthy. And that's the job from Don Waddell, and it's a tip of the cap to him.
I do this thing from time to time where I try to, and we've done this on the show before, like, all right, what is the doppelganger for Ohio State football in the college basketball world? And 2 years ago when I went to Lexington, I came back and I went, oh, Kentucky basketball is Ohio State football. Those two things have a lot in common. The passion, the fan base, the relentlessness of it all. Having gone to Lawrence over the weekend and spending the weekend on KU's campus and going to a Kansas basketball game, and I said this is one that I had, Kansas basketball is Notre Dame football. That's what it is. There is a mythicism to it that, to me, feels very Notre Dame-ish. Much like the Notre Dame campus, everything was done with intent. All the buildings look the same. Like, there is a very similar. So to me, having been to those places, Ohio State equals Kentucky basketball, Ohio State football equals Kentucky basketball. And I said this a couple years ago. My hunch is Notre Dame football would equal Kansas basketball, and I still feel pretty strongly that that's an accurate doppelganger for both. I did not have that. What did you not have, Big?
I did not have the Buffalo Sabres and the Tampa Bay Lightning going full-on 70s Broad Street bullies.
They did.
Yesterday. You had 28 penalties in the game, 102 penalty minutes, 5 fighting majors that were actually called. There probably should have been more than that. And, oh, yeah, there were 15 goals in the game and a wild 8-7 win for Buffalo.
That was crazy.
I didn't have Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics snatching the East from the Cavs and the Knicks 2 games back after less than 10 months away from a torn Achilles.
I can't believe he played that quickly.
And he played great.
Yeah.
Against the Mavericks and then the Cavs.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Yeah. No one had. By the way, we don't even have enough time to talk about all the things that are happening today. We didn't even get into the president thing with Saban. Like, we'll have to do that tomorrow because that thing was crazy to see all of that. I did not have, and I should have because I was warned by Fish, and I just didn't believe him. I did not have that they built the KU campus on what I am sure is the highest hill in all of the state of Kansas with the steepest up and down hill walking I've ever done on a campus in my life. And I've been on a lot of them. But it reminded me of the Price is Right, like the Cliffhanger Gang, like walking from Fog Allen back to the hotel. It's like straight up. Beamsy said to me at one point, he goes, "There's no way you could be fat on this campus, Dad." And I said, "I think you're probably right. I don't know how you could." It was just, the hills were incredible. The incline was nuts. It was like a treadmill on a 27 incline. Crazy. Player who impressed. Who do you got, Bake?
Reese, you talked about him, so I'm going to go there. Jason Tatum. 15 points, 12 rebounds in his return. He had 20 the other night against the Cavs, and they're really not holding him back. He played almost 30 minutes against the Cavs. This is very impressive. 9 months from having Achilles surgery that he's coming back and doing this. I know we talked about this on Friday, Reese. Everybody heals differently. That's impressive, though.
Mm-hmm. I was impressed with really everything in Athens on Friday night. But Jackson Pavletsky, number 13 for the Bobcats, is a warrior. He's a little undersized, in terms of big-time Division I college basketball, so he was getting beat up. I thought it was a bad no call for a layup that he went way late in overtime. I think he drew contact similar to what, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but he has had an incredible season for the Bobcats in his final season, and I hope the best for him this week in the Mid-American Conference Tournament. But that dude's a warrior.
So the easy thing here would be to go Darren Peterson, because to see a kid as a 15-year-old do in Ohio high school playoff game what he then would do at the Big 12 level, and it feels like he's playing against people who are just not in the vicinity of him, is crazy. But I'm going to go with a kid by the name of Melvin Council Jr., and as you can tell when you spend the weekend there, it kind of infects you a little bit. Melvin Council Jr. is a senior at Kansas. He's a really good basketball player. He came in from St. Bonaventure. I didn't know any of this. Beamsy knows the roster left and right. And so it's senior day. They're barking as he's introduced. He has this incredible speech that everybody's on the edge of their seat for. Gets Bill Self to bark because apparently he plays like a dog, so everybody barks in the arena for him. I said to Beamsy, I go, he's got to be like, so he's a senior, he's like 3-year guy, something like that. He goes, oh no, he's been here 8 months. How do you have that type of impact in 8 months on campus? It's a complete buy-in. Sunday as we were leaving, he threw out the first pitch at the baseball game. Like, you would have thought he was Nick Collison. It's just incredible to grab a program like that by the throat the way that he did.
Okay, real quick, I'm changing mine because it's Bruce Thornton. Bruce Thornton's the player that impressed. He just broke the Ohio State scoring record for basketball. So, Bruce Thornton, I'm changing mine.
That's fair. Player who disappointed, Bake, right back to you.
Tyler Reddick, you bum. You won the first 3 races of the year in the NASCAR Cup Series, and then you finish 8th in the next one? Come on. It's all downhill from there. Get this guy out of here. Find a new driver.
All of the Cavs, 10 points in the second quarter. It's so much hope for you guys. You can't get over the Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum 1 game out from returning from a torn Achilles. It's not going to be the year, is it?
I travel quite a bit. I'm not great at it. And by great, I mean I get incredibly stressed with it. Normally because if something were to go wrong, I've got 5 people who I've got to find a way to get to wherever we're trying to go. So I take various steps to make sure that it's as easy as it possibly could be. I'm TSA pre-registered. I have Clear. I have these things because I want an ease of travel when I get to these places. I show up at the Kansas City airport, which, by the way, is stunning. It's the newest airport in the country. It's 3 years old. The place is unbelievable. You could eat off the floor. I mean, it's an unbelievable airport. And we show up there on Sunday morning, and I go into the clear lane. There is no line, which is great. That's the way that you want it to be. You walk right in. They do the face scan, and away we go. And the clear rep, instead of taking me to a TSA pre-lane, which I also have, she put me into steerage, a normal steerage lane, and gave me a green card. And I said, no, can we go down to the pre? She's like, no, this will be fine. You can go here. They'll zip you right through. Well, they did not zip me right through. Clear in TSA pre, you don't have to take off a belt. You don't have to take off your shoes. You walk right through. They zip your stuff. That's it. You don't even take out laptops in those lanes. You don't have to do any of that. So not only did we get triple scanned on laptops, they confiscated my hair product and my gum, my toothpaste, because it was slightly oversized. All of these things that I do these things to avoid these things. So whoever is operating the clear lane at the Kansas City airport on Sunday morning, disappointed. You got to get folks to TSA pre so that they don't have to do that. The people who are doing this, they're doing it for a reason. You got to be better. Bud Kilmer, Honorary Coach of the Week. Who do you got, Bake?
I'm going to give it to Jake Diebler for these last 3 games from this Buckeye basketball team. I'm not sure any of us believed that this was in there, or if we believed it was in there, I don't think we believed it was coming out. But they have acted accordingly these last 3 games, and Jake Diebler was taking a ton of slings and arrows for the performance of this team. He should get the praise when they perform well.
We may have thought they could have won all 3, but not the ease with which they won all 3.
Yeah, Diebler's the obvious coach here. I'm going to give it to Travis Steele, friend of the program and head coach of the Miami Redhawks, 31-0. It's only been done a perfect college basketball season 8 times since 1978. So I'm going to do as much talking as I can so Baker won't play the sound effect. I am rooting for Miami of Ohio. Listeners in their car didn't hear that because there was too much sound on 70.
They have all these hype videos, at these starting lineups. By the way, we're coming back from break. You can guess which is the hype video that both Kansas and Kentucky use as their hype video, the song. But they both use this exact same one. I can see this at the new Miami when they do a hype video. It'll be the video from our YouTube stream of Reese saying, "I'm rooting for Miami," and then giving that award to Travis Steele, and it'll just say Ohio graduate. Like that'll lead the hype video. I'm going to go Bill Self, not because of the way he handled this season, but because I talked about this last week in regard to handling officiating. Bill Self does not ride the referees. He doesn't. He sits down. If there's a call that he disagrees with, he'll make a comment about it, but it's not like you think about Izzo. I talked about Calipari a couple of years ago when I was at the Kentucky game, like just riding the officials. Dan Hurley, who just rides them nonstop. Self didn't do any of that, which now makes the technical that he received out at Arizona State where he got ejected all the more puzzling because he doesn't do that at all. He just sat down.
I love how
and I just thought, well, this is refreshing.
I love how they gave him pyro for that, too.
Yeah.
They walked down and turned on the smoke machines.
All right, the breaking news. We had intended to do some NFL here, but the breaking news of the day regarding a change of leadership at Ohio State at the very top with the presidency, where it goes from here, and how does it affect the athletic department? My hunch is bigly. We'll get to it all next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
Want to start testosterone therapy? Go to Low T Center, the area's #1 TRT clinic for effective, custom testosterone covered by insurance. This month, get a free men's T-test and discounts on peptides. Head to lowtcenter.com now and book your free test.
Hey, Columbus, big news. For a limited time, get Uber One free for a full year so you can save on food and rides. That's a $96 value on us. Just use code Columbus. Get 1 year of $0 delivery fees, 10% off eligible food and grocery orders, and up to 6% Uber One credits on rides. Sign up for this limited time offer today using code Columbus and save big with Uber One. Offer valid through 3/31/26. Savings and $0 delivery fee on eligible orders and rides only. Fees and terms apply. See app for details.
Did winter leave you with a roof leak just as spring approaches? Don't stress. The team at Newman Roofing has you covered. Voted Columbus' Dallas's best roofing company 4 years in a row. Schedule your estimate by calling 614-NEW-ROOF or visit NewmanRoofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment?
On any four-tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $160 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyear's and save up to $160 more. See store for details.
Mortgage rates have dropped, and the best news is they're expected to go down even more. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. If you've been thinking about buying a new home, now is the time. And with Third Federal's Buy Now, Refi Later program, you don't have to wait for rates to drop again. You get the guaranteed lowest rate now, and if rates drop later, even after you close, you can refinance to a lower rate for free. That's right, for free. And now with Third Federal's early rate lock, you can lock in the guaranteed lowest rate even before you find a house. So you'll always have the best rate. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today and lock in the guaranteed lowest rate.
Right now at Third Federal, lock in 5.79% APR 5.82% on a 30-year fixed rate purchase mortgage and refinance later if rates go down for free. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for buy now, refi later. Lowest rate guarantee and early rate lock at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Registration for the Fan 5K is now open. Join your favorite personalities June 20th at Otterbein University. The Fan 5K features a medal, t-shirt, free race photos, and a post-race party.
Get your spot today at 971therace.com.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
March is Women's History Month, and together we are celebrating all the amazing women who have shaped the course of education in the United States and who have shaped our lives in the classroom. When young girls see strong women leading the way, they learn they can become strong leaders too and write their stories in the history books of tomorrow.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A beautiful day today as we kick off the work week with plenty of sunshine, breezy winds, and highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. For tonight, clouds will increase overnight with our lows in the 50s. And then for Tuesday, we do have a chance of some spotty showers and storms. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies and very mild with highs in the mid 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, the breaking news of the last hour or so. Ohio State President Ted Carter is out for conducting and then disclosing an inappropriate relationship with someone in the private sector who was looking for public funding. This is obviously a major hit to Ohio State's leadership. When you're talking about a president, you're talking about someone who leads the entire operation. But beyond that, what you're talking about in the case of Ted Carter is someone who was forward-facing with the athletic department in the ways of which we haven't really seen since Dr. Gordon Gee, and maybe even Dr. Gee in his first term, as much as his second. Gee had the bow tie, and Ted Carter had the bomber jacket. But those two guys were at everything. Ted Carter was at everything. And I had yet to find somebody in his couple of years here on campus who didn't love the guy. I mean, everybody who ran into contact with him, he was beloved, raved about. There are so many layers to this, and obviously there's a bunch of layers in terms of what happened behind the scenes, what led to this, the specifics of it. And then from a university standpoint, there's going to be a lot of conversation about who's next. How do you get through this? This is what, Reese, the third president of Ohio State in the last how long?
Since 2020. Not counting interim presidents. So that's
oh my gosh.
likely what comes next for Ohio State. They, in an email to students announcing Carter's resignation, they said a plan will be put in place, or a plan will be announced, a succession plan rather, sometime this week. But it feels like when you have, a 3-hour meeting on a Saturday where this comes to light for the Board of Trustees, Carter announces his resignation, or tenders his resignation, the university's board accepts it. It feels in the coming days, now what's to come with that news? Or how exactly, I'll use a Watergate thing. How deep does this go?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if there's one thing, there might be others. And if Carter's admitting this to the board, what was going to come out about that sort of news? That's where my head goes with this.
Yeah, and that's what I always wonder in these situations. Like, did he actually go and say, hey, guys, this is what's going on? Did they already know? Did they question him about said relationship? Has this person not only tried to get resources from Ted Carter, but tried to get resources from the board as well? So, yeah, you have to think that there is a lot more to this situation than what we're just being told now as it breaks.
He had a massive face and voice in the future of the monetization of Ohio State athletics, the hiring of Ross Bjork. Ross and Ted were obviously locked at the hip and hand in hand on a lot of this stuff, but everything in terms of how can we maximize what we already have. How many times you guys heard Ross talk about that, about how can we monetize and maximize the things that we have? You think about whether it's charging for tours of Ohio Stadium or putting a restaurant in the shoe or finding a way to have business partnerships in the community that can work to keep the facilities and the buildings up, but also take care of NIL and everything that comes with that. But it goes even beyond that. Ted Carter was at the forefront of a lot of the Big Ten conversations that have taken place. If you think about the private equity turn that the Big Ten was talking about doing, I guess it's about 6-8 months ago, and Michigan and USC dug in. Ted was all in the middle of that. If you think about college football playoff expansion, that was something that he had a big voice on. One of the things that he really had a voice on, and something that I admired about him, was he was somebody who thought Ohio State ought to get what it was owed from the Big Ten. He was not someone who thought that Ohio State should sit on the sidelines and take the same amount of money as everybody else. And when that new television contract does come out, if it stays with the similar partners, my hunch is Ohio State's cut of that is going to be a little bit different than the cut from Minnesota. So he was incredibly influential of all of that. You feel very confident, as at least I did, as someone who spends the majority of their time talking about Ohio State athletics, that Ted Carter and Ross Bjork were going to have a major say and a big hand in whatever came of the college football playoff expansion and that relationship with the Southeastern Conference, which is so critical in terms of how this all looks over the next 5 to 10 years, or 3 to 5 years even, how NIL was going to play out. And this is just in the sports avenue, guys. I mean, you talk about, his job is academia, and beyond that, the hospital. Like that's the primary job that job has. But he was forward facing in all of those things. And so a massive hit taken to the leadership, kind of came out of nowhere. I'll be curious if any of the the education reporters that are out there and acknowledging that probably beat isn't as robust as it used to be. But I'm very curious to see what more comes out of this. But a crippling shot for Ohio State's leadership from a sports perspective, because there was the way that Ted Carter and Ross Bjork go about their business is very different than Gene Smith and a host of predecessors in the president's office had gone about theirs. Ross and Ted were much more big, bad Ohio State, look at our chests, fully puffed out, take the other arm out from behind its back, fighting with 2 fists forward. This is a very different approach than the previous regimes have had.
And as you say that, Bo, I think of how on board Ted Carter was with everything with athletics, and then I think of how contentious it always seemed with Michael Drake and Urban Meyer.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And that is,
those humans aren't like each other at all.
Think about, yeah. Ted Carter was all in on this, and Gordon Gee in the same hand you talked about. He was a guy that was all in about the sports aspects and trying to make it all work for the university and everything. And that's you never know with the person you hire. You would think the person that they hired would come in here with and realize how huge the athletic portion of the university is, even though that's not the main role of the university. But sometimes you hire someone and they think those two worlds butt heads.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Austin who said this. He made a really great point when you think about when it comes time to give Matt Patricia a raise, when it comes time to go hire Arthur Smith or give position coaches raises or coordinators raises or whatever. Yeah, Ryan goes to Ross and said, this is what I'd like to do. Well, Ross has to go to somebody too. And from what I could tell, Ohio State wasn't hitting many red lights, yellows when it came to let's make sure that the football staff's the best in America. That was a lot of green lights that they hit, and that falls at the feet of Ted Carter. So a shocking day, a wildly disappointing day, quite honestly. To me, he was as popular as any president here since Dr. Gee. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like universally beloved. How long has he been here? 2 years?
2 years, 2 months.
Yeah, that's what it felt like right around this time. So, yeah, he's been here 2 years. Yeah, because Ross was hired right at this time 2 years ago. So, and I remember talking to Ted, and he's like, you're going to love Ross. And he was right. Like, there's a lot to like. But, like, that's the reality is that he took a big-time, heavy hand in the athletic department. And I think he saw the value in the athletic department and what it could do in terms of helping him fundraise for all of it. That's the thing that's so critical about a university's athletic department. As Bobby Bowden said years ago, it's the front porch of the university, but it's more than that. It's also the tide that binds for an alumni base. It invigorates them. You come back for a Buckeye football Saturday, and with it, you bring your pocketbook. And those are the things that Ted Carter was very, very good at. Obviously, there was a lot going on behind the scenes that led to his resignation, and as information comes on this, we'll continue to keep you posted on it throughout the afternoon right here on The Fan. Coming up next, the Jackets with an afternoon delight. The Kings in town. The Jackets eternally chasing that playoff spot, but everybody else in the East keeps winning as well. We'll get some perspective with Porty coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Take your shot to save at Great Lakes Hyundai. Shoot the hoop to get extra savings on your new car purchase. On top of big shot savings like 0% financing on 26 Hyundai Santa Fe's and Tucson's for up to 5 years. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. It's the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Dublin or Columbus or GLakesHyundai.com. With Pro Credit, some customers may not qualify. Interest accrues during no payment period. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's Best warranty. 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Offer ends 3/31.
Working your way through that home projects list, that means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your air conditioner or furnace. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain issues? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing problems? Call the Waterworks. HVAC breakdowns? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted and certified plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Ah, college. A time to broaden the mind, question, learn. A time to challenge the status quo. And eat a ridiculous amount of pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of The Ohio State University and the unofficial bank of pizza. Let's go Bucks! Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
My goodness, busy day in Old Columbus Town. If you're just joining, the breaking news, Ohio State President Ted Carter out for an inappropriate relationship, which he disclosed to the board over the weekend. the inappropriate relationship with somebody in the private sector who was looking for public financing. So that's the details we know on that. All the while, we have an afternoon delight at the rink, so we have that to look forward to coming off the trade deadline. And this idea, Porty, as he joins us on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline, the best in the business, Aaron Portzline of The Athletic joining us there. You just keep winning. You get a point over the weekend, and you look at the stands, you go, God, if you're in the Pacific, you'd be atop the division. Unfortunately, you're still not even in the wild card spot at this point. And so there's this, it's fun, but there's this incredible pressure every time they take the ice where you've got to get points every time or you gain no ground. And even when you do, it kind of remains the same. What has this been like for you watching how they've navigated the last week?
Well, first of all, let me commend you for the spectacular seg right there. That was the afternoon delight was spectacular. I don't want that to go unnoticed. It's such a weird time of year. When you lose, it is devastating. When you win, it feels like you just held serve, like you didn't really accomplish anything, right? And the other thing, I think you have to keep in mind is there's still a quarter of the season left.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that can happen here. Teams are going to have losing streaks. Teams are going to have sudden bursts like the Blue Jackets did. Like, there's still so much more time for this to sort itself out. Are the Penguins going to cool off? Are they going to realize that Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin are not in the lineup, guys? Like, are the Islanders, is that luck? I shouldn't say luck. It's a hell of a team, but they've had, I don't think they've lost in overtime, right? Like, they've had so many incredible narrow escapes this year. Does that dry up? And, you know, the Blue Jackets at 14-3-1 or whatever it is now. You can play well and not get those results, and I don't think they've played particularly great since the break. But it's a deep team, it's a competitive team. They know how to win a little bit now, and so yeah, every game is sort of like a test for your medications. Are you on the right stuff? Can your heart handle this?
It's fun. I mean, you're in the Stanley Cup playoffs now. I know it's not, but it is. And you said a quarter of the season, a quarter of the end of the season is going to be the Stanley Cup playoffs. When you look at what Don Waddell did, obviously earlier, and then at the trade deadline, and also what he didn't do, Porty, didn't move some of those expiring contracts. What is your sense of what he thinks he has in this team?
So he has said for a while now, and this is why he made the coaching change, right? He feels like this team should have been better than the record it played with for the first 4 months of the season. I think we've seen that he's right with that. I think people who went into the trade deadline wondering if he was really saying the full truth of how he was going to handle his UFAs, all you have to really think about is this guy does not change coaches and have this response to the new coach only to gut the room of its top UFAs, some of its best players. Like, that just wouldn't make a lot of sense. That would be incongruent, as my friend Tim May likes to say. So I think they get a big boost by Connor Garland. I think they get an even bigger boost. And for that room, it probably arrived a few days before the trade deadline when those guys were all told, you're not moving, okay? You're on this team. You're part of this team. And I like when he opened up a little bit after the trade deadline and said, I didn't want to sign one guy and not the others because that sends a message to guys in the room. I didn't want to make an offer that some of these guys were underwhelmed by. They may be underwhelmed by the initial offer. What kind of mood does that set? Let's just ride this thing. And so he wanted to keep the band together, and they did that.
Let's talk about the Garland acquisition, which happened in advance of the trade deadline last week. I'm assuming that this has a lot to do with second line. They've struggled with that. What for the folks that are jumping on the bandwagon who don't watch every Blue Jackets game, what are they getting from Garland? How does he fit? What does it mean for the players that were on the roster before the acquisition?
Yeah. So Garland is one of those guys, and if he plays the way I have no reason to believe he won't. If he plays just as he has throughout his career, he is going to be one of Nationwide Arena's favorite players. I've described him as such. He has Cam Atkinson's size. He has Matt Calvert's engine. He has Gus Nyquist's hands. He's not a polished elite-level scorer, but he is an absolute tyrant for the puck. He's got a little Nathan Gerby in him, too, although he's got about 2 inches on Gerby, where not only will he go into the corner with 6'4" guys, he loves it. He loves the challenge of that, and he never stops. So I think this is about the second line for sure. That's been kind of a void this year. Ken Johnson disappeared. Sean Monahan backpedaled. That other side of it's been kind of in turmoil, kind of all over the place. He goes right in there. But I think more it's the top 9. And real quick, if you look at some of the best teams in this league, they have those elite level 50-goal, 100-point scorers who can put a team on their back. I think the Jackets have some guys who are sort of have that potential, Marchenko, Fantilli, that they're not there yet. This team is going to need scoring depth. They're going to need 3 lines that can score. They think they have that now. That might make them a tough matchup in the postseason if they're fortunate enough to get there.
One of the things that's been a real interesting soap opera day-to-day has been Kent Johnson this season. Obviously wildly disappointing all year long, but he's been healthy scratched by multiple coaches, and yet you see the precocious talent, but something's not clicking. Yep. And now where does he fit into all this? And I know you can't worry about that now. Like, you're trying to make the playoffs. You can't worry about trying to develop a kid in the last month of this young man. Where does all that sit from your vantage point?
I mean, honestly, they may not make this Garland trade if Kent Johnson is having the season right now that he had last year.
Mm-hmm.
May not be necessary. So there's that. He's been pretty good here the last 3 games. They like the way that he's played. He came when Garland came in, he joined the line with Monahan and Johnson, and it's been really good. Just the 1 game together, those 3. But Johnson's been back now for a few games and looks like he's just sort of free to play, which is what you want. One thing I think you have to keep in mind on this team, though, is they had 17 goals in the press box as a healthy scratch with Dmitry Voronkov the other night. He was a healthy scratch. I can't remember the last time that the Blue Jackets have scratched somebody who had 17 goals through the first 3 quarters of the season for reasons other than sort of punitive. I mean, this has been play. He's been squeezed out by the depth that they have now. And Rick Bowness was clear on this the other day. It applies to Johnson, but it applies to a lot of guys. If you're not going, you're going to get 1 warning, and you're out because they've got depth now. They have talent. They're scratching good players, which is a sign of a really good team. And they can't wait for people to, quote, find their games. As he said, if you haven't found it after 62 games, you're not looking in the right place. So that's the edict to these players. Mm-hmm. He's going to tell them face-to-face if they're not playing, but there could be some surprise scratches because if you're not going, you're not playing.
Yeah, I mean, we're not used to these type of problems, but we'll take some of them. Yeah. Certainly, it means you have an incredible depth of talent. You've now watched this, and the one thing with Rick Bowness on the hiring party I was curious about, like, you make the hire, and it's a sprint to the deadline, and you get to the Olympic break, and then you pause, and then you restart. And your line earlier, you said they haven't been playing that well, but they are getting the results that are required and necessary at this point to be able to keep pace. What has Rick Bowness done with this team? And I really liked Dean Evison. I really enjoyed all the interactions. And yet last year he was chef's kiss. What has Bowness done with this group that in terms of what's happening on the ice that wasn't happening before? Because now we have a pretty good sample size.
Yeah, I think the demand has been clear from the start is defending better in all areas. That's 5-on-5 for sure, but that's the penalty kill. Excuse me, that's late in games. And that's the one thing I think has slid, and Bowness said this as well yesterday. Since the Olympic break, they haven't been quite as sharp defensively as they were before it. They were just sort of smothering teams leading up to the break. That game against Utah highlighted it, too. They had a 2-on-0 at one point, Utah did. They had a breakaway to take I think it was the 4-3 goal or 4-2 goal. There's just stuff that can't happen. They had a mismatch in 3-on-3, which, that's kind of what 3-on-3 is at times, but they have to tighten up again. And that's what yesterday's brief practice was. One of the tricky things with this schedule, they've got 20 games. They finished the season 20 games in 37 days. There's not a lot of time in there for an actual meaningful practice. So it's video. It's go over things briefly on the ice, but they've got to tighten up defensively. That's what he's brought to this team. Look at their goals against. It's dropped by more than a goal per game than it was under Evison. The goalies look better all of a sudden. And that's what's changed, but that's what's got to get tightened back up again.
You did a very good Tim May impression on the word choice. The only thing that you forgot to do afterwards is give yourself a chuckle at your own cleverness.
Yeah. Right. Admire your work.
That's right. Tim May, he's like a guy hitting a long drive. Like, just really take a look at it, right? I mean, he really likes to give a little look. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right, buddy. Great stuff as always. Always appreciate the conversation. Thanks, pal.
Yeah, always the best. Thanks, Bo.
There he goes. Aaron Portzline, our great friend of The Athletic, joining us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. If you're just joining us, news of the day, Ohio State President Ted Carter is out, inappropriate relationship. And so a massive change at the top for Ohio State of the university. That is something that nobody would have foreseen happening. Three things on a Monday coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Do you want free internet forever? Yeah, we thought so. That's why Spectrum is giving you just that. Free fiber-powered internet forever when you switch and get 4 mobile lines from Spectrum. No internet bills, no taxes, no late fees. Just fast fiber-powered internet. Call 833-901-0178 to find out how. But hurry, this deal won't last forever. Once more, 833-901-0178. Or visit spectrum.com/free forever to learn more.
Hey folks, it's Berm here from 97.1 The Fans, Austin and Berm Show. Last week I was on the road visiting a recruit and I saw one of my old fast food favorites on the side of the road and was hungry for lunch, and I thought to myself, this place used to just call my name, and I thought, hey, why not stop in and have some? I'm on maintenance right now with Awaken 180 and I'm allowed to eat it. So I pulled in, I ordered the usual, I sat there and unwrapped it in the restaurant and I was so excited. And then halfway through it, I thought, why am I eating this? And it wasn't even in a guilty way. It was more confusion because it didn't taste like I remembered. It didn't hit like it used to. I wasn't craving it anymore, and I really wasn't excited about it. And I just kind of stopped wanting it, and that's when it clicked. Awaken 180 didn't just help me drop 35 pounds. It changed how I look at food. I'm 3 weeks into maintenance, and I haven't put a pound of that 35 back on. And I finally understand what works for me. It's not about I can't. It's about not wanting it the same way anymore. I'm not craving the bad. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Get your car ready for spring adventures. This month at your local AAA Tire and Auto Service location, buy 3 select tires and get 1 free. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Offer ends March 31st. See store for details.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here. You know High Bank for their award-winning spirits, but the food deserves just as much love. Enjoy happy hour with friends, brunch with family, and dinner that never misses. Make your reservation today at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
BMI Federal Credit Union is celebrating their 90th anniversary. As a thank you, they will be celebrating with monthly sweepstakes where 90 winners will win big. Visit bmifcu.org/90 years for more details.
The sports book at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to be for all the basketball action. Watch every game at once on 2 video walls spanning 50 feet, plus over 30 TVs. Come show off your jump shot in our King of the Court drawings and take home memorabilia from a Cleveland basketball legend. We've also got unbeatable game day food and drinks all season long. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a table with up to $300 in dining credits at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
How many different ways can you consume morning juice? Let's see. Live on YouTube, live on the Fans HD3, podcast on demand, and on 10 TV Plus. And we'll send by you right to your house.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
The Fan.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
At Germain Honda of Dublin, they get it. Nobody grows up dreaming of driving a minivan, but it's hard to argue with unbeatable versatility. Enter the Honda Odyssey, packed with space, comfort, and family-friendly features that make life easier. And if you want efficiency, Germain Honda has you covered with great incentives on hybrid favorites like the CR-V, the Civic, and the Accord. Shop Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270 and at GermainHondaofDublin.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, kids, a lot going on here on a Reaction Monday edition of the program. If you just missed it, go back. The podcast has all of it. You got the Bruce Thornton stuff off the top, looking back at the weekend at Fog Allen for me and Beamsy in the second. And then we had the breaking news in the middle of it, which included the news that President Ted Carter is out at Ohio State for an inappropriate relationship. He disclosed it to the board over the weekend. The board accepted his resignation, and so away we go. And details will continue to trickle out on that. I've said this throughout the last hour or so, and just if you're just joining, bears repeating. The most forward-facing, athletic, leaning president of Ohio State since Gordon Gee, in my estimation, that he and Ross Bjork had a massive voice in where the sports, where college athletics were going, where they were going at Ohio State, and had a very different tone than the predecessors in terms of monetizing and taking full advantage of everything that Ohio State has to offer, most specifically from a football program. So universally beloved by everybody that I had talked to, met him several times, enjoyed him a lot. But a shocking turn of events on campus as Ted Carter is out as your president at Ohio State. Some more breaking news only to add to it. We've had Tua Tagovailoa released, and now we have Travis Kelce staying with Kansas City for one more season. So the NFL hot stove is really happening. Some really substantial moves happening in the National Football League that have happened today. Today's the first day of legal tampering, and then you're going to have free agency, which happens on Wednesday. So that's what is happening on that. There's a lot going on this Monday. Reese, where do we have the poll?
A daily fan poll sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, and it asks, who's your favorite Ohio State men's basketball player of this century? Your three options are Aaron Kraft, Bruce Thornton, Evan Turner. You also have the ability of an other right now.
Evan Turner.
59% say Aaron Kraft, 19% say Evan Turner. You got 12% for Bruce. And then other, Michael Redd's getting some love, David Lighty, Jim Jackson, not of this century, but
that doesn't make any sense.
John
I don't really think Michael Redd's this century either.
Mike isn't either.
Kana Bates, Diop. Yeah.
I like
Scooney, obviously, but not of this century.
I like how you went on Evan Turner.
Yeah,
I
because
feel like you took a shot at me.
No.
That's my
take
guy.
a shot
I
at you?
love ET.
There's a lot to love. And he had that. To me, I'm just surprised like Jared Sullinger's not on that list.
I'm surprised Sully isn't on there as well.
I mean, he's the best, most accomplished. He had the best, most accomplished 2 years. He's a two-time consensus first-team All-American. He was the best player on the number one team in the country going into the NCAA tournament, and he was the best player on a team that played in a Final Four.
That's tough. Evan Turner's in the rafters.
Because he was National Player of the Year. I mean, Turner was just and he still is a little bit, like every once in a while, he's a little prickly. A little bit is. You know, I love him. I loved covering him, and he was a tremendous player. Connolly and Oden in the 1 year, you know, that they would have there.
I think that hurts them, right? Because it was just we only got 1 year with them.
Yeah, you're biased for the teams you cover most closely to, and to be fair, like the teams that I covered most closely were Diebler, Lighty through, Kraft, the end of Kraft, and then. I mean, those are the teams I covered closest. So, yeah, some incredible, incredible players. And the one thing with all the guys we're mentioning of favorite, they are all guys who had big runs. And you couldn't even have this conversation with Bruce without them getting in.
And that's the beauty of favorites. There's no wrong answer.
No. Whatever. There's a lot of great ones out there. All right, time for three things.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Number one for me, my God, do people in Kansas love bread. They'll tell you every variety of bread. Every menu item has 6 different varieties of bread that you can choose at various restaurants, no matter where we went. What kind of bread you want? You want multiple grain? You want sourdough with jalapeno cheddar? What do you want? I got a bread for every occasion. In fact, at one place, when I said, yeah, we don't need any bread, the waiter looked at me as if I had just asked his permission to take his girlfriend out to a nice seafood dinner and never call her again. That's how he looked at me. So don't ever turn down the bread plate in Kansas. They don't take kindly to it.
Dorothy Mantooth's a saint, so I hear.
Yeah.
This from Adam Schefter, continuing the silly season theme. Falcons are expected to pursue Tua Tagovailoa. Sure you want to do that?
I told you.
I know.
I had that.
But, you sure you want to do that?
I do, because he will throw it where Kevin wants him to throw it. That's all he wants. Turn, open, throw. It's the same reason Purdy works in San Francisco. It's honestly why I think he would work in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm just not convinced Tua wasn't more the Dolphins and maybe recovering from some of those concussions for a while.
Just too much risk.
The concussion stuff, it's very real. Yeah.
First thing for me, so I was at the Jackets game Saturday, and I went there a little earlier because I was going to participate in the pregame meal that the media can buy, and they have a bunch of TVs in there, and I was hoping maybe that they would have the Buckeye basketball game on in there. Well, they did not, so I finished my meal, and I went upstairs, and I pulled out my tablet, signed into the Fox app. I mean, the Buckeye basketball game is on free Fox for everyone to see.
That's right.
Why do I need to sign in with a TV provider? Why not just provide the game on your app so I can see it? Because what if I hypothetically had a device where I didn't have a TV provider and I couldn't sign in with one? If everybody else can watch it on their rabbit ears, I should be able to watch it on your app.
I think that's fair.
My preview, though, did get me to see Bruce's game, or the 3 that broke the record. So I did see that at least.
Very, very cool. I had mentioned this offhandedly last week when we had Uncle Dom on. Let's just say this. The Uncle Dom, Nephew Bo, Italian cruise.
Uh-oh.
Momentum.
Uh-oh.
Momentum. Seems like people might like it. Momentum.
Second thing for me, I want to hash this out a little bit. Just in the short
only
amount,
so much I can say.
The short amount of time we have. Are you two hosting? In this hypothetical cruise, would it be you two as hosts?
I think it's in play.
Okay.
I think it's in play. I think there's an
Because that's what the people would need to know before deposits are made.
Have you met Dom Tiberi?
Have.
I think.
But he would need someone to wrangle him.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, from a promotion standpoint, let's just say if there's more momentum that leads into a full green light, you're going to be well aware of everything that's in play here. Yeah.
Second thing for me, 6 years ago today was the infamous Rudy Gobert press conference where he proceeded to touch everything in the press conference room as everybody was getting sick. There's so many things from 6 years ago this week that will always be vividly in my mind. First and foremost of which, sitting at the shot, getting ready for the girls' basketball tournament, thinking, there's no way we're doing this. The girls coming out and warming up for the first game and thinking, there's no way they're playing. And then all of what ensued after that. It's just crazy that sometimes it seems like yesterday, and then other worlds it seems like it's 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, it really was. Finally, number 3 quickly for me. Ted Lasso's great. I'd never seen it. Everybody told me it's great. It was one of the available shows on my flight. It was perfect. Every episode's like 30 minutes. I watched basically the entire first season on the 4 United flights. Very good.
I'll make it my third thing. First season, second season, third season, great. Don't know that they needed a fourth. Damn sure didn't think they needed a fifth.
There's 5 seasons of this
thing? I think they're on their 5th one right now.
Oh, for God's sake.
Jake Diebler Show next.
Let's go, Jake.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.